In Trump's New York trial, it just totally fell apart for this criminal, illegal prosecution team and this corrupt judge. Trump had major victories in the courtroom, which I'm going to cover in detail. And then, of course, we've got the JFK of the MAGA movement, Barron Trump, who is now going to be a delegate to the RNC convention, the Republican National Convention, representing Florida with his brothers, this is awesome, and his sister Tiffany. Here we go. It sure is. Welcome one and all. It is Friday already, our first full week back from our vacations. Oh my goodness. Very exciting. So much going on, so much to talk about. President Trump had his greatest victory yet in this criminal court. And I don't mean a criminal court in that it's there's criminal charges. The court itself is criminal, right? We've got a corrupt criminal judge whose daughter took $10 million from the Biden, Harris, and Adam Schiff campaigns and is still raising money as a full-time job, raised about $100 million, from what I understand, on the promise that Trump's going to go to jail when her dad's the judge. That's not corrupt, is it? Oh, my goodness. Bragg and these DNC lawyers on this prosecution team, they're the criminals, okay? So when I say criminal court, that's what I'm referring to. But yesterday, major victories for Donald Trump in that courtroom, and I'm going to detail all of them on the program. Got a lot of stories to cover, including the JFK Jr. of the MAGA movement, Barron Trump, who is going to join his brothers and sister Tiffany as delegates of the Florida delegation at the Republican convention, and he's going to vote to nominate his dad, the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. So we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about today, and sorry, liberals, it's good news, okay? America hasn't failed or collapsed yet. I apologize, okay? Because that's really what their goal is. And, of course, today is Friday, meaning today is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mic Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show, as opposed to the other days of the week when, of course, we very much try to get you to discuss what we're bringing up on the program. But today it is open phones, Open MAGA Mic Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. Okay, there were 3 incidents with Stormy Daniels and her testimony and the day's testimony yesterday that just destroyed this case. Okay? And the great Greg Kelly of Newsmax. You know Newsmax is right down the street from the radio station? I don't know if you knew that, Mike. They're right down the street. You probably drive by them and don't even know it. But Greg Kelly's up in New York. And Greg Kelly, I'm going to play some audio of him coming up, but Greg Kelly cracked the case and brought up something that no one, other than the incredible team of Donald Trump's in the courtroom, had even considered. And that is just a beautiful thing. I'm going to get into that after the first break. But I wanted to share this. This is absolutely amazing. No one hates Donald Trump in the news business more than MSNBC, MSDNC, MS13BC. They've got a lot of names, and they hate Trump like the plague. I mean, they just hate Donald Trump. And the case against Donald Trump is so bad that even MSNBC has to admit it. Listen to this. This is MSNBC's, NBC News's one of their legal correspondents that was actually inside the courtroom during Stormy Daniels' testimony yesterday. And I just wanted to start the day with the analysis from inside the courtroom from the mainstream fake news corporate legacy media outlet that hates Trump the most, MSNBC. Listen to this. And some things came up in her testimony yesterday that discredited her in some kooky ways, too.
You know, Remind our viewers all the time, Chris and Andrea, I sat through 2 E. Jean Carroll trials and 2 cross-examinations of E. Jean Carroll, and I have to tell you, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This was very much what I call a nuts and sluts defense. There was
wow. Boy, they're using some kind of language there. A nuts and sluts defense. I've never even heard that term before. Did she learn that in Harvard or Yale? Do I have to dump that? Can you say nuts and sluts? Well, we'll find out.
And 2 cross-examinations of E. Jean Carroll, and I have to tell you, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This was very much what I call a nuts and sluts defense. There was a portion of the cross-examination where Susan Eckles was focused on the fact that Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people.
Okay, so let's stop there. This is just the first part. I got a whole bunch we're going to break down with Stormy Daniels. I wish this was on television live. So Stormy Daniels has testified under oath in this courtroom that she is a psychic medium who communicates through the dead, with the dead. That's right. She communicates with the dead, and she's a psychic medium, Stormy Daniels. She testified to this under oath, under penalty of perjury. Nothing says credibility like that, huh? Now, one thing that they don't get, I know, I can't make this stuff up. They didn't run out of the courtroom bragging about this, did they? Most of the coverage yesterday was telling us that she had cleaned the clock of Trump's lawyers. Now, one thing they don't get into here, because psychic mediums, by the way, they're all fake. They're all fake. Psychic mediums, they use crystal balls. You never seen that? Psychic mediums that use a crystal ball? Apparently, it's been reported that Stormy Daniels, as a psychic medium, does not use a crystal ball. She actually uses her very oversized breast implants and puts her hands over those, and that's where she speaks to the dead from, I think. But anyway, let's get back to this. This is crazy.
Remind our viewers all the time, Chris and Andrea, I sat through 2 E. Jean Carroll trials and 2 cross-examinations of E. Jean Carroll, and I have to tell you, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This was very much what I call a nuts and sluts defense. There was a portion of the cross-examination where Susan Eckles was focused on the fact that Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people and has participated in a TV series about the paranormal.
Okay. All television shows about the paranormal are fake, guys. You know, there's some people that I'm friends with, I'm an acquaintance with. They are YouTubers. There's some YouTubers I'm friends with, and they do YouTube videos of the theme parks in Orlando. I've known them for a few years. And all of a sudden, I get an email. They're going to be on TV. This was about 2 years ago. Their daughter was on an episode of Psychic Kids. And they went to their house. It was really their house, and they filmed them and everything. And their daughter was speaking with dead people, and she's a psychic child and everything. It was all fake. I mean, they don't own up to it, but I never heard anything about her being psychic before, you know. And it was so fake. I mean, all of it was fake. But anyway, so Stormy Daniels, it gets worse. Okay, she said on the witness stand under oath, under penalty of perjury. Oh, I have not even gotten to the bombshell stuff. This is just the fun stuff right here that we're at right now. Wait till I get to the stuff. Under penalty of perjury, under oath, in front of this jury, in front of President Trump, in front of this corrupt judge whose daughter took the $10 million from Biden, Harris, and Adam Schiff and all that stuff. She said she is a psychic medium who communicates with dead people, and she's got a psychic television show. This is Stormy Daniels.
Where she explores things, including the fact that at one point an ex-boyfriend of hers was inhabited by spirits.
Wow. Her ex-boyfriend was inhabited by, and I'm assuming they're evil spirits. Wow. I mean, there's nothing says... How many of you heard this detailed in the analysis yesterday? This is cuckoo. She makes E. Jean Carroll look lucid.
She was mocking Stormy Daniels. She wants the jury to think Stormy Daniels is a liar and she is crazy.
Yes, she's talking about Trump's lawyer. Okay. This is nuts. She is nuts. She is crazy. Okay? And she's a liar because all psychics, all mediums, all those who claim to speak with the dead are frauds. They're all frauds. Okay? Does anybody believe in that crap? No, they're all frauds.
And she also wants the jurors to judge her for her occupation. And Stormy Daniels gave no...
Well, which one are they going to judge her by? Are they going to judge her by her sex worker business, or are they going to judge her by her psychic medium business, where she speaks to dead people and her ex-boyfriend was inhabited by an evil spirit? Which profession should you judge her by?
On that. As Sue just said, she might be an exotic dancer and adult film actor, but she was very clear when Susan Neckles used the phrase selling yourself to describe what Stormy Daniels was doing on a tour where she was making appearances at clubs. Stormy Daniels set her straight. I was not selling myself. I was dancing. The implication always was...
Oh, really? So in those movies, when she gets paid to have sex with men, she wasn't selling herself. Okay.
Not a sex worker, and I don't have a sign around my neck that says consent given freely to everyone at any time.
Well, obviously that is not true. I mean, you have to pay her, right? She gets paid to do these sex movies. And why, if she's not a sex worker, why is she getting 2 STD tests a month? Currently, according to her testimony.
She was a woman who seemed pretty self-possessed, in control of her own body, and wanting to maintain, essentially, to quote Pretty Woman, I say who, I say when, and not, Donald Trump was mine, that I was for the taking by this man. I increasingly see what Trump did to Stormy Daniels, and she used the phrase, what happened to me, more insidiously than I think I ever have. It is a reinforcement of the predator frame that the Access Hollywood tape introduced. It brought into full vision a very new Donald Trump, not just a Donald Trump who was womanizing and liked beautiful women and was one of the world's most eligible bachelors.
I bet that woman next to this legal analyst on NBC likes beautiful women too. She looks like Eraserhead. You guys know who Eraserhead is?
David Pecker described him, but a Trump who knew what he was doing and wasn't just hitting on people, but making it impossible for them to escape, or at least downright uncomfortable.
See, so then Stormy Daniels, after she said she's a psychic medium who communicates with the dead, and that, yeah, exactly, and that her boyfriend was possessed by demons. Now she's accusing Donald Trump of holding her prisoner against her will, right?
Stormy Daniels, today, I agree with Sue, the temperature was down, but the self-possession was up, and she would not give ground. My favorite answer that she gave was when Susan Neckles basically said to her, you make things up like this all the time. You've acted in over 200 pornographic movies, and those are all made up. And she said, if I was going to make this up, I would have made it a much better story. And I don't know how people in the courtroom reacted, but in the overflow room, there was like a, ooh.
Ooh, she got a zinger. Well, what they left out, and I'm going to get to this after the break, is President Trump's lady lawyer, Ms. Neckles, whatever her name is. She's brilliant. And she exposed the biggest fallacy of Stormy Daniels' slanderous story about President Trump. She was busted on the witness stand as a bold-faced liar about the slander she's made against Donald Trump. I will get to that after the break. My name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Don't sit.
I gotta find the audio. I don't have it queued up. Here it is.
We're gonna have some more testimony here on cross-examination. 11 and liar. Oh, scored too many points. Neckles tried to ask, and so Stormy obviously said here, not supposed to do that. I was by me. Look, glad I saw that it's happening. I'm very glad. Still got the. Oh, I was about. For so what's it like in there? Well, okay, great, Kelly got a front row seat.
The contract.
If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services...
Stormy Daniels now.
Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing,
Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people and has participated in a TV series about the paranormal where she explores things, including the fact that at one point an ex-boyfriend of hers was inhabited by spirits. And Stormy Daniels is a liar.
Keeping you on the bench? Does fatigue have you feeling subpar? You gotta man up with Game Day Men's Health, where you can find high-quality, effective treatment programs, even if you're on the go. Call 561-355-5341.
Exactly. Exactly.
As quick as 15 minutes. Treat your ED with Gaines Wave, non-invasive sound waves in your blood vessels. Proven by clinical research that it is safe and provides long-term results when you're in the bed. Consider HGH therapy to rev up your engine with HGH peptides, helping men fight fatigue and trim.
We'll be back shortly. We'll be back shortly.
Game Day Men's Health will get you back in the game in no time. 561-355-5341. Visit our new location in Palm Beach Gardens on the corner of North Lake and North Military Trail. Their enjoyable man-cave environment provides refreshments and flat-screen TVs, aided by expert licensed staff who specialize in male health and wellness. Nothing else compared. Call 561-355-5341 or online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com for more information. Don't sideline your well-being. Let Game Day Men's Health help you score big.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta.
Stand by. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We've just begun. Oh, man.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than it.
Karnak the Magnificent. Yes, I always liked Karnak.
I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people and has participated in a TV series about the paranormal where she explores things, including the fact that at one point an ex-boyfriend of hers was inhabited by spirits.
Wow, okay, so that was on the witness stand under oath yesterday. Now, before we get to the rest of it, because, that goes to her mental state. She is a nutbag, okay? She's another kind of bag, too, but she's a nutbag, no doubt about it. Yeah, that's the woman who's going to bring down a president. Pretty desperate, huh? Did you see that part covered in your news yesterday? Before we get back to the part that discredited her entire story, she got caught in a big lie in the courtroom, a big lie. Before we get to that, I want to tell you about MyPillow. You know, if you'd like to support this program and at the same time get a great night's sleep, use our promo code Kane at checkout at MyPillow.com. You know, the MyPillow 2.0, which is what I took on the cruise, that's the next generation of MyPillow is what Mike Lindell calls it. It has temperature regulating technology. All year long, no matter how cold, no matter how hot it is, it has temperature regulating technology, including the patented fill inside, of course, that Mike Lindell invented. But it keeps your head and neck the perfect temperature all night long. It's a game-changing pillow. You'll never turn the pillow over again looking for the cool side. And there is a buy one, get one free special on that, but there's also a 4-pack special on the MyPillow 2.0 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. A 4-pack special. So check that out with our promo code Kane. And you know, I neglected to mention this all week long, and Mike's office called me yesterday to remind me of this. It's free shipping on all orders over $75 at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right. So her mental credibility was tossed out the window with that garbage yesterday in her testimony. And, the unfortunate thing is, since this corrupt judge whose daughter took the $10 million from Biden, Harris, and Adam Schiff's campaign is running the show, we don't have cameras in there. And we are forced to really find out what's happening through this sketch artist that makes Donald Trump look ridiculous because he hates him, and the fake news liberal media coming out. Well, the great Greg Kelly from Newsmax was in the courtroom, and he picked up on something that President Trump's lawyers went after her yesterday on the stand that completely 100% proved that she has been lying about this slanderous story about sex with President Trump. So let me play this. This is Greg Kelly. He tells his whole experience, and let me hold on. I don't need these MSNBCers right now. He tells his whole story of the courtroom, but then he gets into the big lie that all of us have missed, but not Trump's legal team. Listen.
Greg Kelly got a front row seat here for day 2 of the cross-examination here to Stormy Daniels. Set the scene for us. What's it like in there?
Well, I wasn't quite in the front row. I was about 7 or 8 rows back, but still got to see everything. Look, I hate that this trial is happening, but that it's happening, I'm very glad I saw what I saw today. Stormy Daniels was, I believe, destroyed on the stand. Look, lots of security. The security is excellent, I'm pleased to say. There was this minor incident caused by me. When President Trump walks into the courtroom, I naturally stood up. I was the only one to do that. You're not supposed to do that. I was quickly admonished by pretty much everybody to sit down, people in uniform, and that's fine. I mean, would be nice, but we're going to obviously adhere.
Almost kicked you out of there before things got going.
Touch and go for a while.
Yeah, because this corrupt judge doesn't want anybody standing up except for him. You're supposed to stand up when a president comes into the room. Even one that's not currently in office, you do that out of respect.
But anyway, and then it becomes...
Now he's going to get into the serious part of it. Trump's lawyers filleted her and totally blew out of the water her story.
A trial, and that can be very tedious, and so Stormy Daniels yesterday, apparently, or the day before, was a bit of a wreck, talking too fast, all the salacious details, which truly were irrelevant. I think what happened today, Necklace tried to make it a financial thing for her.
Right.
I don't think she scored too many points, Trump's defense attorney, Necklace, President Trump's defense attorney, on that score. But as to the event, whether or not it actually happened in Lake Tahoe in 2006,
listen.
I believe that Stormy Daniels revealed herself to be a complete and total liar. Nothing made sense. Nothing added up. There have been discrepancies. She's told this story to a lot of people over the years.
Well, there's an In Touch interview from 2011, right, where a lot of this was discredited.
2011, and a lot of people have overlooked that interview, myself included. All right, we focus on the Anderson Cooper interview. We focus on Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay. Now, in the Anderson Cooper interview, which I rewatched recently, she talks about this in Kimmel too. And she makes a big... Now, this is very important because, she forgot her lie. And she's gotten busted. And Greg Kelly's going to point this out. But in these interviews, and you can go and check this out yourself after 9 o'clock. Don't do it now. Go watch the Anderson Cooper interview, and you'll see this. She makes a big deal that she was invited to dinner. And he skipped the dinner for the sex. He couldn't wait to have my body, And she even said to Anderson Cooper, he still owes me dinner. How many times have you heard it? He still owes me dinner. Listen to this.
What happened in that In Touch interview is remarkable. I mean, one small point, but it's not really small. She's told 1 million people that Donald Trump did not get her dinner. They were supposed to have dinner. She tells In Touch that we had dinner. We talked over dinner. And a million other discrepancies. The idea that a woman who's been in 100...
Okay, so there's some other things that aren't as big, but that's big. The 2011 interview in In Touch magazine was like an original interview. And she actually says in that interview that they had dinner together. In all these big interviews with Anderson Cooper and everybody else, he still owes me dinner. I thought I was going to dinner. There was no dinner. Totally busted. Which means she's made the story up and she's just forgotten. That's what happens when people lie. They forget their lies. There's more. Some other things came out too, which I'm going to get to after the break. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Now remember, it is Friday. That means open phones. Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on today's show. You're not limited to anything that I bring up, including this. Although I would very much like to hear your opinions on the psychic thing with Stormy Daniels. She communicates with the dead. Her boyfriend's possessed by evil spirits. And that she was totally busted as a damned liar because of this dinner story. All right, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Gregg.
Amazing. I know, it's insane. Let me find out, is there anyone in the chat room who believe that psychic mediums are not fake, that they're real, that they're real ones? Does anyone believe that? I can't imagine anybody believes that. It's for entertainment purposes only. I mean, it's not real. Yeah, nobody believes in it. Demonic. I don't think it's demonic because it's not real. You know, it's not real. You believe it? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
561-513-1566. Hydra Cleaning and Restoration is your full-service commercial and residential.
It's I wouldn't say it's evil because they're not really communicating with spirits. It's fake. Now, they may be con men that are stealing money from people. A Face for Radio. I saw your Sarasota Tim video. That was weak. Weak. Face for Radio. You're trying to get in on the Sarasota Tim train, but your arguments for Sarasota Tim are weak. Weak. Weak is Stormy Daniels' virtues. Oh. No, it's communicating with the dead is most definitely against the Bible, but they're not really communicating with the dead, is what I'm telling you. It's fake. They're con men and women. Right? They're not even really trying. They know it's fake. They're acting. Dionne Warwick, Psychic Friends Network, exactly. And Miss Cleo. Face for Radio, maybe he has me muted and didn't hear me talking, or he's just ignoring. I don't know which it is, but...
To make a plan and know. In the case of an evacuation, have a plan to go to a hurricane shelter,
yeah.
hotel, or...
Ouija board.
Or friends. If you're ordered to evacuate, you need to leave. hurricane season. Know your zone. You can know your home. Learn more at FloridaDisaster.org. This message is sponsored by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Denise.
Maine. Welcome, Maine. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We'll be back shortly. Sylvia Brown on Montel. Can you guys remember, Kamala Harris used to date Montel
Toll-free.
Williams.
716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people and has participated in a TV series about the paranormal where she explores things, including the fact that at one point an ex-boyfriend of hers was inhabited by spirits.
Okay, so yeah, that was under oath yesterday. So there's more. What Greg Kelly picked up on was amazing about the dinner. I'll recap that later. And then there was more evidence that came in from the incredible legal team of the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. This is in, let me see, this story has been reported in a couple places. This is in trendingpoliticsnews.com, which, by the way, is a very good news website. Trendingpoliticsnews.com. Trendingpoliticsnews.com. I read it pretty much every day. Listen to this. Lawyers for President Trump. I got to read some of this slow because when they get there's a recording of a phone conversation, and in the phone conversation they're quoting Stormy Daniels. So there's a lot of words I can't use. So when I get to this portion, I will speak slowly so I don't have a mistake. Remember Neil Rogers, what happened to him? Oh my goodness. You remember, guys, what happened to Neil Rogers his last day on the radio? Oh. Lawyers for President Trump, I'm not going to go through it right now. Those who know, know. Lawyers for President Trump presented compelling evidence to a Manhattan jury on Thursday, suggesting that Stormy Daniels' attorney, Keith Davidson, engaged in potential extortion. In a recorded phone call from April 2018, call is on hold, standby. In a recorded phone call from April 2018 between Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Davidson, and Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal attorney. Davidson is heard claiming that Stormy Daniels berated him and pressured Michael Cohen for money, indicating a desire for it more than anything, money. Now, here's the part where I got to speak slowly. There's going to be a lot of initials and such, because we're quoting Stormy Daniels. Now, this is an actual recording of scumbag Michael Cohen with Stormy's lawyer. The recording, rife with explicit language, featured Davidson saying that Stormy Daniels was furious with him, calling him a P word. You know what the P word is, right? And urging Michael Cohen to resolve her claims promptly. She wanted this money more than you can ever imagine, Davidson told Michael Cohen in the call. This has also been reported in the New York Post. I remember hearing her on the phone saying, "You effing Keith Davidson, you better settle this GD story," Davidson added. Stormy was fearful that if Trump lost the election, we, quote, lose all the effing leverage, and the case is worth zero. Daniels firmly denied berating the attorney. In court, she says, "No, I did not actually. I never yelled at Keith Davidson." Sounds like a threat from Keith Davidson. Now, I think that sounds like how she probably talks. So those are three pieces of evidence and testimony that came into the courtroom yesterday that just totally discredited anything Stormy Daniels had to say. The entire story itself was discredited over the dinner thing. So what would Trump have been paying her to keep quiet about? A complete lie? Keep quiet that we didn't have sex? I don't understand. the whole case fell apart. But you know, Stormy Daniels should have known this. She's a psychic now, after all, who communicates with dead people. Now, I want to say this because I was talking about this during the break. See, I know the Bible is against us communicating with spirits, but these psychics like Stormy Daniels, they're not communicating with spirits. It's fake. They're actors. Actors. I'd like to see this show, though, just once, because I wonder, because her acting experience basically includes sex and orgasms and stuff, right? I've never seen any of her movies. I'm sure Al the John has, Liberal Al. He could probably, but I wonder when she's speaking to spirits, since she's got a very limited acting range, orgasms and such. Does she go into like these Meg Ryan, you know what I'm talking about with Meg Ryan, orgasmic type readings? I don't know. Maybe, you know, there's a big market for things where they cross genres. They could cross genres, porno psychic. But I don't consider it evil because it's fake. It's acting. They're not really communicating with evil spirits. They aren't even trying to because they know it's fakery. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
All right, Sandra. So it's over for Stormy after yesterday. That was a brutal day.
Let me tell you something. And I'm going to tell you this with absolute certainty. You cannot communicate with the dead. You cannot.
I agree. You mean even if Stormy Daniels puts her hands over her breast implants, they don't have a way of communicating with the chemicals in there with the other world? I'm kidding. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a good joke at this hour of the morning, but, you know, some psychics use crystal balls. She uses silicone breast implants. Like, no, there's, I agree with you. It's all fake. No one communicates with the dead. There and
I'm telling you, I know this for sure. Like,
how do you know for sure?
I just know for sure. I can't tell you how, but I know for sure. It's impossible to communicate with the dead. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, with her being saying that she's a medium, now that pretty much blows everything on what she's saying about Trump. Because a lot of people know it's fake. You saying it's fake. I'm saying it's fake. So
yeah,
that means she lies about everything.
Well, and this thing. Well, listen. She allows men to enter her body for money in movies. I mean, somebody that does that will do anything for money, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm sorry. I hate to say that. You know, there's no such thing as the happy hooker or they're in charge, they're powerful and all this stuff. People do that because typically they've been abused when they're young. Most women that are in the adult business, no matter what level it is, Playboy all the way down to, you know, they're usually good-looking women, and they were abused as young people, and that's where they go.
You know, when people start to say, you know what, I communicate with the dead, they're mixing with something else, Brian.
What's that?
You get what I'm trying to say?
No. Do it in a radio-friendly way.
Okay, they're just mixing with something that's not holy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, it depends if they think they're doing it or not. You know, the thing with Stormy Daniels now all of a sudden being a psychic, I wonder if she speaks to dead penises. I mean, can she communicate, say, with John Holmes, for example?
I don't know.
It sounds like a good movie. You know, Larry Flint was still around making movies. He could do a good take with her starring in a porno version of The Sixth Sense. I see dead penises instead of dead people. Could you imagine? That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is it's a complete falsehood.
Well, that's true. Hey, listen, appreciate the call from Boca. But I'll tell you, in all seriousness, though, everything that I shared with you was revealed in court yesterday in front of this jury. An acquittal is more and more likely every second. And, you know, it's crazy, isn't it? Not just her credibility in general, but the credibility of her story was totally blown out of the water yesterday. Now we know why she's so into testifying. She wanted to do PR for her psychic medium show. All right, we're going to take our last break of the first hour, all right? It is open phones today. You are not required to talk about this, although I've got more. You can talk about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. It is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, has rid me of pain from a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain
Welcome.
treatment.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
My name's Sean. I'm calling from Boca Raton. I want to thank you guys once again. I've listened to this show since the mid-'80s. Thank you for introducing me to Dr. Appleton, Brian and Steve. I went into last week. I had a knee problem. At one session, I feel so much better. I brought my mother there yesterday. She has a problem with her right side or her arm. She's right-handed. She feels better. It's amazing. And for people out there that are dealing with pain, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FREE free. You will lose. The only thing you'll lose is the pain that you're dealing with. Do not suffer. Go in to see Dr. Appleton. The greatest decision of your life.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, trademark. Copyright that. I see dead penises.
973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Open Monday through Saturday. Appointments not necessary. Applicants are welcome. 954-973-0710.
Look up in the sky, on a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a hat. It's the Print Hero. The Print Hero team is made up of expert designers and printers, each with their own unique superpowers. Help your company look great. Stand out with your unique lifestyle. The Print Hero has you covered. Let your business soar with Print Hero. Display your logo, love, lifestyle, or whatever you want the world to see on a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. Best prices and fast turnaround time. Print Hero, a company that goes above and beyond to deliver top quality products and services to their clients. Learn more at theprinthero.com. Up and away.
I've been in business for 30 years in the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary. We've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. If you have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues, please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center, being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family.
TGIF.
To us and a blessing to them, and we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Yeah, we got back from our cruise on Sunday, and, you know, our next cruise, the 2025 cruise, is the end of March. And if you want to join us on the Celebrity Apex, I'm going to give you the number for Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. And I had the most relaxing time that I've ever had on any of our cruises. I'm totally like recharged. Vacation is a necessary thing. If you want to see what kind of excitement we have, go on YouTube and search Brian Craig on YouTube. I put up a few videos of our cruise. Most of it are our excursions. and you'll see our great group, our great cruise family, and all the fun we have. One of them, I did a recreation of me. The thumbnail for the picture that shows the video is a reenactment by me of Nirvana's Nevermind album cover with the baby. Remember that one? I did my own little reaction of that. Had my daughter take the photo, which, you know. But I have 3 up already from our cruise. There's that one, the one where we visited the caves. You got to check that one out, and you could see the type of people we have. Because I tell people, we don't, you know, these jerks like Jay from Jersey and Liberal Al. That's not the type of person that comes on our cruise. We have very good people, nice people, beautiful people, wonderful people from all over America that join us, and you are invited too. If you call now and book, you just put a small deposit, you lock in the price, and the ship's filling up already. I usually don't talk about the next cruise so early, but it's filling up already. In fact, certain cabin classes have already filled up on this ship. But if you make your reservations now, you put down a small deposit, you got a long time to pay for it, and you get to lock in a much lower price than will be available down the road. Here's Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. And go on YouTube, search Brian Craig, and watch the videos. If you only watch one, watch the one with the caves. I made 2 videos with shore excursions, but that one was just amazing. Those caves just blew my mind. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. I am going to play every hour the thing about Stormy Daniels with the testimony on the psychic, because I think people need to hear that. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Megan from Texas.
Hey, Megan, what's up?
Really quick, just 2 quick things. First, next Saturday here in Dallas, I finally get to see President Trump in person.
Oh, cool.
NRA event. I'm so excited.
Cool.
But my question to you is, for Stormy Daniels, do you think the judge is getting private lap dances during the breaks? Because he seems really interested in hearing all the nasty stuff.
No, I don't think he's having sex with her, no. I know his daughter took $10 million from the Biden, Harris, and Adam Schiff campaigns and has raised almost $100 million promising Trump will go to jail and her dad's the judge. So I do think that. I'll give you a little tip when you go to see Trump, okay? No matter what they tell you, you will see the Secret Service come in about 20 minutes before him, so you can start getting ready. And as soon as you hear Lee Greenwood, get ready. He's coming. Don't let them fake you out. You know.
Oh, yeah, I got my Trump hat, my mugshot shirt. I've got some Trump sneakers, not the golden ones, but they're gold to me.
Mm-hmm.
Got a bag with his mugshot picture on it as well.
Awesome. Is this the first time you will have seen him in person?
Yes, it's my very first time. That's why I sound like a child on Christmas Day right now.
Hey, I get that way every time, and I've seen him like 30, 40 times.
You are so lucky, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, well, hey, listen, have fun, and let me know after the... when is that?
Saturday the 18th.
All right, well, call us after and let us know what it was like. The pilgrimage to the... it's like a Trump rally, NRA. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
Let's put ourselves in the minds of one of these jerks. All right, that obviously they hate Trump, right? It's been proven. They listen to CNN, MSNBC, probably New York Times, that type of stuff, right? But how can you how can you not put your Trump hatred aside and say that this woman is a nutbag? These witnesses are bad. These witnesses are a train wreck for prosecution. Particularly if it's true that they have 2 lawyers on the jury. Lawyers know bad witnesses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know. It was pretty brutal. Yesterday in particular was very brutal for this fake prosecution. I mean, even if you want to believe Trump did something illegal, how can you come back with a guilty verdict after this so-called psychic medium whose boyfriend was possessed by evil spirits testifying. I mean, come on.
I mean, what was it? A couple days ago, you said that the judge may have wanted a hung jury or something to that effect. Well, the way it's going right now, it's not going to be a hung jury. It probably might be him acquitted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll tell you about that another time, Mike. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bob in Lake Worth.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, listen, question of the day. When did we quit killing bad people? When did war go for Mom in Dresden?
Wait, slow down. I didn't hear anything you said. Slow down. What'd you say?
All right, sorry. I'm just a little frustrated about the Israeli-Gaza war.
Yeah.
Our president withholding military munitions that the good people need to kill the terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to figure out is, back in the day, World War II, and previously, Korea, we would actually kill all the bad people to win a war.
Mm-hmm.
That philosophy changed.
Oh, that's it. Because Vietnam is when the military-industrial complex. See, I want to answer. I'm going to let you go and answer the question after I let you go. Okay, so you can turn up your radio. And the guy asked a good. I don't usually do that, but I just, the wind noise was driving me nuts. What happened? If it wasn't for the Second World War, who knows when the Great Depression would have ended, right? Maybe it never would have ended. Who knows? Maybe it would have ended in the 70s. Great Depression was pretty bad. I'm old enough to have had grandparents on both sides of my family that went through it, right? And I'm sure some of you do too. All the Depression era people are pretty much dead now that remember it. But they, when I was growing up, I've mentioned this many times, they used to tell us all the time, I'm talking about school teachers, that capitalism is the best economic system. It has one flaw, and you need to have a war every so many years to keep it going. And what they discovered was how much money there was in war. And the reason they don't fight wars to win wars is because if they end the wars, the money stops flowing into the military-industrial complex from the U.S. Treasury. That's it. That's why they don't want to win wars. It's a racket. It's a business. And let me tell you something. I know a lot of people are veterans out there, and I think you would agree with me. I would do anything I could do to keep my child from joining the service. You're going to go and join the service so that you can keep war criminals like Dick Cheney and his scummy daughter and millions of dollars on these fake wars that they've started. And I never believed any of that crap. Oliver Stone talked about it for years and years and years about the military, and not just him, many others, about the military-industrial complex in Vietnam, and I never believed it until I saw really what they've done in Ukraine. They had this 20-year war in Afghanistan. It ended, and then like the next week, they started this crap. And I've mentioned this many times. It was not an accident that they left behind all the military equipment. They left it behind because then the military-industrial complex, they get to sell all that equipment to the government again. It's a racket. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Brian, this is Sue from Michigan.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Good. This is completely off topic, but kind of going along with everything else. So I just experienced a very interesting thing. Went to go get my ID, my license renewed. And I have now been told by the state of Michigan that my citizenship is unknown. Is this another little plot for voting?
What do you mean your citizenship's unknown?
So I went to renew my license. I fill out the paperwork. She hands it back to me, take pictures. She hands it back. Is everything good?
Oh, you mean on a Michigan driver's license it asks for citizenship?
No, sir. They've taken it from me.
Well, I don't think that's on. Let me look on my Florida license. I don't think it says anything about citizenship. It doesn't. I don't think they ever have.
Right, but that little strip on the back has all your information.
Yeah, for computer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That little strip. So, in order for me to become a citizen, I guess again, I must.
Wait a minute. You're a U.S. citizen, right? So I don't understand. You feel that you can't prove you're a citizen? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
They are telling me that in order for me to have the same status I had before, which was 3 days ago, as a citizen, I have to provide birth certificate notarized, Social Security, my card.
Well, do you have a okay? Now, first of all, I had this issue with my wife. We couldn't find our marriage license, and she went to renew her license. This was years ago, and they wanted to put her maiden name on it, so I had to go get an official with the raised seal marriage license so she could have her married name on there. That's normal, okay? Everyone has to do that. Do you have a yeah, it can happen, yeah. Do you have a passport?
I do not.
Oh, you don't have a passport? Well, yeah. Well, I'm a little confused by the call, and I'm running out of time, but to sum it all up, it sounds good. If they're asking people to prove they're citizens, that's what we want.
Okay, I was listening.
So what you're telling me, that's a good thing, but I find that hard to believe with this lunatic, Gretchen Whitmer, running the state of Michigan, that kind of thing is on the table, but having to prove you're a citizen to get government ID, that sounds like a pretty good thing to me. Not a bad thing.
Brian, what I don't understand is this has only been 3 days. I have a driver's license. I go to renew it.
I think every time you renew it, you should have to prove all this stuff. Okay. All right? All right. Listen, all right, take care. All right, we're coming up on the top of the hour break. It is open phones on Friday, open Mag and Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind. Driver's license talk, it's cool. I don't mind on Friday. We'll be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Melbar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Herding Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. All programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for
Well, if you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is going to be extremely hot. Highs are going to go into the middle 90s today, high humidity, and more of the same to lower 90s tomorrow. Dry conditions. Times after TV, gas 25 first warning, meteorologist Sam.
Yeah, Face for Radio, Richard Marks, you didn't comment. I commented on your Sarasota Tim video. I don't know if you're purposely ignoring comment or not on that. I've seen both of your Sarasota Tim videos. Very weak. Very weak.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is your entertainment destination with poker, table games, off-track betting, paddock dining, and exciting events. This Sunday,
I've got so much to cover today. If you're on hold, stand by.
delicious buffet with your family, plus Hoffman's treats for mom. For more information or for tickets, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Sloman's is doing it again for True Oldies listeners. Call 833-283-5050 and Sloman's will give you a free home security system.
All right, I get it, Mr. DJ. We've heard you say it a million times on this radio station. We get it. Sloman's is the best in home security. It's privately owned. Serving homeowners for the last 100 years.
All right, what else comes with this special offer?
I'm going to show you that I've heard you a million times. Sloman's will customize a system specifically for your home and include
A Face for Radio has made a couple videos he put on YouTube defending the or I don't know, not that he needs defense, but I guess defending Sarasota Tim and the criticisms made against him as being unfounded. And I've made some Sarasota Tim videos on my other YouTube channel. Not this one. On my vlogging channel. You guys want to look those up after 9 o'clock, of course. Don't leave now. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned to the top of the chat. You're welcome to call in. Welcome, everyone. If you've already subbed, make sure you like the video. We're coming back right after this commercial. 33 seconds. Yeah. Trump's team, Trump's lawyer brought up the dinner lie. Absolutely. Well, it's not topic by request, Mickey. I'm sorry. I want to talk about what's on my mind. What I think the people need to hear and want to hear.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, callers on hold. Stand by. I'm going to do this in a bit, but each hour I'm going to recap the Stormy Daniels testimony because it was so devastating. But first, I want to talk about MAGA's RFK Jr., MAGA's JFK Jr., actually. RFK Jr. is a disaster. MAGA's JFK Jr., and of course I'm talking about Barron Trump. You know, Barron's now 18, and he is going to join his brothers and his sister Tiffany and be a delegate at the Republican National Convention representing the Sunshine State of Florida, and of course he'll vote to nominate his father for President of the United States. And I'm calling Barron the JFK Jr. of MAGA because I think that's what's going to happen. You know, Rosie O'Donnell is a lowlife, okay? She's a lowlife. What she said about Barron the day after election night, he was 11 years old. I know he was 6 feet tall. He was 11 years old. They wake a kid up in the middle of the night and throw him on TV. He's half asleep, and she starts saying he's got problems. I mean, what a scummy person, Rosie. But it is Rosie O'Donnell. What do you expect? But Barron really doesn't have much memory probably at a time when these political monsters, these permanent Washington class people and fake news people weren't attacking his great dad. And I don't know if it's come out yet. I haven't seen what Barron plans on majoring in college or where he plans on going to school. But to me, it looks like Barron is going to be a president of the United States one day. He's going to be in the Senate one day. He may be the governor of Florida one day. But he's certainly going to be a president one day. I see it right now. And this is really an amazing thing because we're always looking for the future of MAGA. We thought it was Ron DeSantis, and he blew it. We thought it was going to be Kristi Noem, she blew it. We have a lot of good people, but a lot of the top people have destroyed themselves. And now here we have an 18-year-old kid, Barron Trump, who without question is the JFK Jr. of the MAGA movement. And I don't think he's going to have to take the bar exam 3 times to pass it like JFK Jr. did if he becomes a lawyer. I hope he doesn't go that path. We don't need any more lawyers, okay? We need business people. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. I lost you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
I didn't know it was on. Okay. You know, a funny little quick thing everybody like. You know, I always wear my MAGA hat when I go shopping. So 2 days ago, I'm shopping, and all of a sudden, this big giant guy, must have been 6'4", 6'5", but a muscle-bound guy, a weightlifter for sure. He comes over and says, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah." Does anybody bother you when you wear that hat? I said, "Well, people come over and want to shake my hand and give me high fives and everything else, but other than that, I only had one woman who looked at me and wanted to kill me." I said, "Why? Does it bother you?" He says, "No, I love Trump." I said, "Then where's your hat?" He says, "Well, I didn't want to have people bother me." I said, "Bother you? If they don't bother me, you're a giant, man. They're not going to bother you." He said, "Yeah, maybe I'll get a hat." I said, "All right, great." You know, I said, "You know, you can get it online, but you can also maybe go to Wings Plus. They used to sell them there." He said, "Wings Plus? Where's that?" I said, "You don't know where Wings Plus is on Samples Road?" No. I said, "Well, go check it out, man. If you like wings, you like wings? I think maybe it's a vegetarian."
Yeah.
Never going to want any other wings but Wings Plus, man. Get a bet. Anyway.
I like it. I like our listeners traveling through town doing commercials for our sponsors. That's great.
Another guy walking around with American Greater hat.
Awesome.
American Greater hat, for sure.
Well, Wings Plus is the only restaurant that you can eat in with your MAGA gear with no worries.
the only place for sure. I wouldn't go anyplace else with my hat other than the Wings place.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Anyway, it's so great to hear that, and in fact, I can't believe it. MSNBC is saying that Stormy Daniels is a liar.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that would be against the policy to do that, man. That means that she's as bad could be. For MSNBC to turn her on her, that is real.
It's got to even be worse than that. For MSNBC to tear down the credibility of Stormy Daniels after her testimony yesterday, it's got to be even much worse than they're describing. It's got to be a train. And, it's an interesting thing. I'm going to play, after the next break, the CNN legal analysis from their reporter that was in the courtroom again. It was devastating. And, because the cameras aren't there to know what's going on in the courtroom, we are relying on the filter of these Trump haters that have the seats in the courtroom for the most part. And this thing about her being a psychic now who communicates with the dead, I didn't hear anyone talk about that yesterday in the analysis. Did you?
I did. A psychic, yeah. So.
This is the only place I heard it, and Greg Kelly from Newsmax is the only person I heard report that Trump's defense shredded the whole story by pointing out that she said to In Touch magazine in 2011 that they had dinner together, and in all these TV interviews she says he wanted my body so fast he skipped dinner and he still owes me dinner, she's been saying, which totally, Greg Kelly's the only person I've heard report that.
It's funny. Sure, he doesn't want to have dinner, he wants to have sex right away, but yet he goes and gets silk pajamas. I put silk pajamas on first and comes out with a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just take his clothes off and have sex. He had to change. Wait, it's so stupid.
Well, the analysis of her second day of testimony yesterday, except for Greg Kelly and then this thing from MSNBC, most all of it said she did great, and they kept reporting that she embarrassed Trump's attorney, and the whole courtroom was laughing at the attorney. When she said, and in fact, the complete opposite was true. Yesterday was worse for the prosecution and Stormy Daniels than the first day. It was, the first day, she looked like she was hopped up on something from she was talking fast, talking weird, and making jokes that weren't funny, and getting graphic sexually. Yesterday, her entire story and credibility were blown out of the water. And no one's reporting that, except Greg Kelly and this one person on MSNBC.
This is their story. They refuse. They're not MSNBC, apparently. So they're watching MSNBC. These people just say anything. Keep lying, and never give up. Keep as long as they can keep in court. This is great for us. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, don't worry. President Trump has this Jersey Shore rally this weekend, which is historic. It's a blue state. He's going to win it. He's going to have a massive turnout. And this is a beautiful thing, and that kind of bleeds over into New York too. I mean, there are places in play now that Republicans haven't tried for, since the 70s.
Yeah, man, how can anybody, again, want to vote for Joe Biden? I mean, my God, this guy has destroyed the country. He's senile. And
he's corrupt.
And he did nothing good for the country. Nothing. I mean, I asked.
And it's not just Joe Biden. When is and I'll throw this out, when is the last time a Democrat president has done something good for the country?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Somebody asked me, said, well, because I had my Make America Great. Well, when was America not great? I says, ever since past Ronald Reagan, until we got Trump back in. Now Trump has made the country great again. Oh, no, it was, what was wrong with Obama? What's wrong with Obama? Oh, man, these guys are nuts.
Obama destroyed the health insurance industry in this country, totally gutted the health insurance industry. Plus, we're learning he brought in, I don't know how many millions of Muslims here that have taken over our universities around America. and has brought back something that I thought this country was rid of, and that's anti-Semitism is very mainstream these days because of Obama. Obama was a disaster. Overall, he was a mediocre president who, like Bill Clinton, you have 8 years of nothingness, you would think on the surface, but now these many years later, we're starting to see that he was busy doing a lot of other things, like a Muslim takeover of the United States.
He had a nice personality and a nice smile, and everybody liked him.
They all do. Anyone who is a president is charming. Anyone who's a president is charming in person. They're politicians. How do they get elected? Who wasn't charming?
I never thought much of Bush. I always thought Bush was a little.
Did you ever meet him? Which one?
George Bush II.
They're both George Bush.
Yeah, the last book.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I never met him.
They're charming. I met him when he was governor. I met him at the Republican convention when he was governor of Texas, when he was first governor. Charming. I met John McCain. Once. You know, I'll tell you, there was one Republican I met that was not charming, that was a wooden cutout figure. Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich, zero personality. His smile looked like it was sewed on. He was one, yeah, and much heavier in person than I imagined. But it could just be that his wife is so thin, it makes him look heavier. I don't know. But other than him, I've never met a politician in person, and that goes for Democrat. I've met Democrat, and I'm talking about at the upper level. I'm not talking about like your local people. I'm talking about like at the presidential Senate level. I've never met one other than Newt. I know he wasn't in the Senate. He was Speaker. Other than Newt, I've never met one that was not charming. They're con men. Politicians are con men, and they con you through being charming.
But that's the only thing that's left for Obama.
And by the way, that's only for the successful ones, right? Hillary Clinton's not charming. She was never president, right? She's a loser, and Newt Gingrich was never president either. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years, but not anymore. It's all gone, thanks to Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain system. I'm in studio right now with Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton, how's you doing?
My treatment knee pain with laser. Treatment is simple and no side effects. I have robotic lasers.
Yeah.
A wonderful effect on joint pain. These are all FDA approved.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help with.
Any joint I can do. Shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up through the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. He's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation.
Thank you, Fern. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Thanks, Jack.
973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio.
Look up in the sky, on a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a hat. It's the Print Hero. The Print Hero team is made up of expert designers and printers, each with their own unique superpowers. Help your company look great. Stand out with your unique lifestyle. The Print Hero has you covered. Let your business soar with Print Hero. Display your logo, love, lifestyle, or whatever you want the world to see on a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. Best prices and fast turnaround time. Print Hero, a company that goes above and beyond to deliver top quality products and services to their clients. Learn more at theprinthero.com. Up, and away.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings.
All right.
Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
On the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, Are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, anywhere in the world.
All right, we're back. We're on a lot of radio stations, man. I don't know why we're not on all radio stations, right? I mean, you know, aren't all the other radio stations in this market have filler programming on when we're on anyway? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. Now, here's the most important question I'm going to ask you of the day. Are you in pain? If you're in pain, you don't have to be. You want to go see Dr. Appleton. Talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. You know, his laser wave pain treatment works, people. You've heard me talk about it. He's rid me of pain 5 times. Arthritis pain, pain from injuries, years of suffering from knee pain. I thought my knee was just going to hurt me for life. My knee was hurting me from the time I was 20 years old, especially during the rainy season. 2 treatments with Dr. Appleton 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And the pain gone and has not returned. All of the times that Dr. Appleton has treated me, all 5, the pain is gone and has not returned because the laser wave pain treatment repairs the issue that's causing the pain. It's amazing. There's no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. It's 100% painless. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. And, you know, the thing about the laser wave pain treatment and the walk-in appointments are not necessary and all that stuff. Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need help now. Not some first-time patient and you get to see him in 6 weeks. Forget that. Last time I went to him for my shoulder pain, I thought I was going to need surgery. But he gave me the treatment. On my way out of the office, I was already feeling better. I told Dr. Appleton, and I said if I'd have gone to an orthopedic, they'd have had the surgery scheduled already. He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 2 treatments. My shoulder pain gone. Knee pain gone. Arthritis pain gone. Give him a call. Here's his number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Go see Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I want to go through this, recap this again. We got to do this once an hour today because the TV doesn't want to do this. And I'm so glad that this was from MSNBC. Whenever I can, I try to use liberal sources for things like this so that the liberal listeners can't say, oh, that's Fox, that's Breitbart, you know, that's Newsmax. If you use their own sources, they can't discount it. MSNBC, out of the cable news networks, hates Trump more than any of them. They're vile over there. Rachel Maddow and all those jerks, Lawrence O'Donnell. So this audio that I'm playing for you now, and then we'll go to the phones after, this is MSNBC's correspondent that was in the courtroom yesterday on Stormy's second day of testimony. MSNBC's correspondent in the courtroom sharing her analysis of what happened on the stand. It's beautiful. Listen.
You know, as I remind our viewers all the time, Chris and Andrea, I sat through 2 E. Jean Carroll trials and 2 cross-examinations of E. Jean Carroll, and I have to tell you, I agree with Sue wholeheartedly. This was very much what I call a nuts and sluts defense. There was a portion of the cross-examination where Susan Neckles was focused on the fact that...
Susan Neckles is President Trump's lady lawyer, okay?
Susan Neckles was focused on the fact that Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people. And
okay. So Stormy Daniels, under oath on the witness stand yesterday, testified that she is a psychic medium and communicates with dead people. I can't make this stuff up.
Focused on the fact that Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people and has participated in a TV series about the paranormal where she explores things, including the fact that at one point an ex-boyfriend of hers was inhabited by spirits.
Wow, okay. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? This is the woman who's going to bring down a president. They got their whole thing, their whole strategy relying on this nutcase. Case closed. There's more.
She was mocking Stormy Daniels. She wants the jury to think Stormy Daniels is a liar. She is crazy. And she
she's obviously a liar and she's crazy.
Also wants the jurors to judge her for her occupation, and Stormy Daniels gave no ground on that. As Sue just said, she might be an exotic dancer, an adult film actor, but she was very clear. When Susan Neckles used the phrase, selling yourself, to describe what Stormy Daniels was doing on a tour where she was making appearances at clubs, Stormy Daniels set her straight. I was not selling myself, I was dancing. The implication always was, I am not a sex worker.
She's not a sex worker. She does hardcore porn where she has full penetration sex with men for money. That is sex work. That's sex work. Later on in the testimony, her whole story fell apart. Okay, and I'll just say this part quickly. This was reported by the Greg Kelly from Newsmax, who was in the courtroom. No one else reported this that I saw other than Greg Kelly from Newsmax. Greg Kelly reported that Neckles, President Trump's attorney, totally blew away her credibility on the story. The television interviews, Anderson Cooper and Kimmel, that everybody has seen, she says, he invited me for dinner, he skipped the dinner, and she makes a joke. He still owes me dinner, she says to Anderson Cooper. President Trump's legal team presented an interview that she did before all of that in 2011 to In Touch magazine, in which she describes having dinner with the president that night. So she made the whole story up and she was exposed. President Trump's attorneys filleted her yesterday and totally exposed her. Great day for President Trump yesterday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Terry from Florida.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much.
Man, you know what? You always used to talk about this judge, right? This black judge.
The judge is not black. The judge isn't black in New York. He's white.
No, I'm talking about this female. This female judge.
The female judge in the what?
With the black guy. Mama, you called him her playboy or her boy toy.
Are you talking about Fannie Willis? Fannie Willis is not a judge. Fannie Willis is not a judge.
What I'm saying.
She's a prosecutor.
You wanted to kill her because...
I don't know. Excuse me. I don't want to kill anybody. Okay?
Say, the way you kept talking...
No, excuse me. I never said I wanted to kill anybody. Well, I'm just saying goodbye. What a jerk. See what they do? See what they do? That's how bad it is. He doesn't even know who Fannie Willis is. By the way, she's not a judge. She's a prosecutor. I tell you, these people. You know, we're up against the break at the bottom of the hour. And I will tell you, this case is going so poorly. We've only heard from one liberal. It was that moron who was slandering me and saying untruths to try to cause trouble. When things are going bad for us, the phones are lit up with Democrats. They love to talk about it. The fact that they're under rocks and the one who's too stupid not to call in calls in and says something like he said shows how poorly it's. Even the brain dead, like that caller, know how bad it's going. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Gregg. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. Now, here's the
Okay.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Crash has a right and left shoulder block to 95 North approaching Palmetto Park Road. Stoppable delays from Hillsborough Boulevard and Lake Worth Construction, 6th Avenue South from Grove Street to Congress Avenue. This traffic update is sponsored by
That would be awesome, Otto John.
Deals on great gifts that mom is going to love. All for just $15 and under. Get low prices every day at Macy's Backstage.
Don't have a sign around my neck that says consent given freely to everyone at any time. She was a woman who seemed pretty
Beach Kennel Club. The Moneymaker Tour is back in the Poker Room May 2nd through the 14th. Featured over $500,000 in guarantees, 28 trophy events, buy-ins for all type of players, and Poker Pro Chris Moneymaker. You can also play your favorite table games every day with games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum 7 days a week. Plus, daily high hands and bad beat jackpots. For more info, go to ppkennelclub.com.
Hey, grab your flip-flops and get ready for a summer in paradise on Margaritaville at Sea, where cruises to the Bahamas now start at just $75 a person. For a limited time, dance the night away at our high-energy poolside parties, then settle in for island-inspired cuisine night after night with your favorite plus one. From fins up to sundown, a Bahamas getaway with Margaritaville at Sea is the perfect summer refresh. Book it today to lock in your savings on your next cruise together at margaritavillatSea.com.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez, at the BioStation West Del Rey, and hormone replacement pellet therapy.
Hormone replacement therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women...
We'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, stand by.
Stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone. Night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy.
I don't mind trolls. Trolls of you. I want as many people to watch. If the trolls watch me, it helps get the video recommended to more people.
561-320-8893.
Have you been to Chowderheads in Jupiter yet? If you were looking for the best seafood in town, you have to try Chowderheads. You'll love their authentic New England seafood, brought in fresh from Boston. Their award-winning lobster rolls, clam chowder, and fried oysters are absolutely delicious. Come taste it for yourself. You will want to keep coming back for more at Chowderheads, located in the Driftwood Plaza on South US Highway 1 in Jupiter. Now open 7 days a week. For reservations or to go, call 561-203-2903 or check out their menu at chowderheadsusa.com.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602.
Well, there's a phrase that people use a lot on YouTube. Don't feed the trolls. And I didn't even really notice that person. But if you don't, the more you reference them, the more they spam. Just ignore them. All right, callers on hold. Stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, just a devastating day for this criminal prosecution against Trump. Devastating day.
What a great day for Mr. Trump, as they all seem to be lately.
Did you hear about the psychic stuff and everything?
I heard about that, yeah.
Under oath on the witness stand. Oh, and she was totally discredited yesterday. And by the way, the psychic stuff's just funny, but her whole story fell apart because she did that interview in 2011 that nobody ever references. And she told a different story than what she's been telling lately. So the whole story was discredited. So why would he pay a woman to keep quiet about something that never happened? And, you know, this is the thing about these strippers and sex workers and pornographers. Women in the adult film industry and on the stripper circuit, the big money is to be the headliner. They don't have to make money just based on the money that they get in their garter belts, okay? They get paid by the clubs to be a headliner. They get a base salary. I don't know what they pay. I'm not in that business. But the headliners get paid a fee plus whatever the guys give them, as opposed to the girls that are, you know, I guess they're 1099 workers working for dollar bills and $5 bills and hoping for a 20 in the garter. And women oftentimes become headliners because they claim that they've had sex with famous people. That's one of the more common ways to become a headliner on the strip circuit. She even had a thing like, she went on a national strip club tour, and it was called Make America Horny Again. Remember that? Make America Horny Again. And, you know, so, you know, and when the story, President Trump's lady lawyer necklace yesterday just exposed that the entire story was made up, just evaporate. And by the way, if I was not wrong about that, our phones would be lit with liberals. It's over. It's over. And the media, the way they're portraying it is if she filleted Trump's lady lawyer. And in fact, the opposite is true. All right. 1-888-465-2631 is our number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie.
Good morning, Rich. What's up?
Well, it's a great day for Trump, but I tell you, I'm very down and very depressed at the United States of America being led by basically a dead man. A man who shouldn't be there.
Stop. You know, why does everyone got to make references to death and dead? No more death or dead references on the program, okay? Enough of that stuff. I mean, what's with the... Yeah, enough of this stuff. I mean, the last two callers.
Well, it's because you mentioned that...
Use other words. Use other words.
Where are we going from here, Rich? I'm anxious to hear you.
Yeah, we're going with... All right. Yeah, Brian's got... Listen, here's where we're going from here. We pulled out of Afghanistan and embarrassed the crap out of ourselves with this maniac in the White House. Then he pulls this thing on Israel. I mean, he's giving money to Ukraine, which is not an ally.
Oh, my goodness.
And then yesterday.
Richie, do you know what a Richie, slow down. Richie, do you know what a motivational speaker is? A motivational speaker.
Somebody that motivates people to get up behind the subject.
Maybe, or feel good. Yeah, you were the opposite of a motivational speaker. Yesterday, I don't know what you call the opposite of that, but a demotion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a demotivating speaker. Yesterday was a glorious day. All the storm. Well, what's good for President Trump is good for America. And let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. This was a great. Anything that's good for President Trump is good for the world. Okay, and us, of course, being on it, it's good for us. On top of the Stormy Daniels bombshells, which I went through today. Okay. Yesterday, introduced to the world of politics was the JFK Jr. of the MAGA movement, Barron Trump. Barron Trump, with his big brothers and his big sister Tiffany, Barron Trump is going to be a delegate at the Republican National Convention with the Florida delegation, with Don Jr., Eric, and Tiffany voting for his father to get the nomination for Republican Party. That's not an accident. The kid's 18 years old. And I can tell you already, I could just see by what's going down, Barron Trump has decided he's going to be president of the United States one day. And he's going to carry on the torch of the MAGA movement. I mean, there's so much good news, and you're like, Ukraine,
the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Richie. Depress everybody.
Protect your flag.
With all your good news and your motivational speaking this morning, you have neglected probably the biggest story that's ever hit.
Of course.
How we failed to give weapons to Israel in a crisis, and how we backed terrorists. And if you think that's
it's outrageous. What more, Rich? Come down. What more can we say? I'm sure we both agree it's outrageous. So start there and pick up. And what more is there to say? I mean, it's unbelievable.
And I'll just add one thing to what Steve said. You must have been on the toilet. Excuse me, Richie. You must have been on the toilet when this happened. But in the last hour, I talked to a guy about that very thing.
Here's the deal.
The biggest story of the day that I neglected. I talked about it an hour ago.
What I want to say, he won't let me speak. He's going to cut me off.
I'll let you speak.
Oh, my goodness.
They put President Trump, basically impeached him for saying, oh, my God, Brian. Okay, let's talk about the rainbows and everything else. And this is a quick.
Well, first off, it is. First off, we're talking about the news. You're talking about the old news, and this. I talked about that in the last hour, Richie, to a caller. A caller actually asked me about it, and I had a conversation about it.
Stormy Daniels, because you listen to news, and I see Newsmax all the time. That's what I watch.
I don't watch any TV. I got this news offline. I didn't watch any of the Newsmax. What do you think
You've been talking about Stormy Daniels every day, and that's old news, okay?
Oh yeah, what's in the news? You mean you're talking about? Excuse me. The things that I brought up about Stormy Daniels today is the news of the morning. In fact, the three things that I shared are not being reported except in very small places. That she lied about the dinner, that was exposed in court. That she communicates with dead penises and that are spirits, and that her boyfriend was possessed by evil spirits. The phone conversation with her lawyer and Michael Cohen that was revealed yesterday that I went over the transcript of. All these things are news. News is, drop the S, is new. And this is stuff that has not been reported widely that we're covering today.
You're a history guy. Getting back to this Israel thing, what do you think is going to affect the rest of the way the world looks at the United States, the allies that...
Most of the world hates Jews, and they like that we're not going to give them weapons.
Most of the world knows. I mean, I think in terms of that incident, they're focused not on America but on Joe Biden. I think that's what happened with the big effect of yesterday was Joe Biden.
And so, I had this audio I played yesterday of Biden that's just making the news finally today. When he called the illegals Hispanic voters. See, the problem, Richie, you're feeling depressed today for whatever reason, and you just can't feel good. This is Trump's coming back to save this country. Yesterday, we are closer to an acquittal.
And I mean, don't you feel that yesterday was a great day?
Yesterday was a great day in this country, but it was a disgraceful day on the world scene. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
but
Biden is a disgrace.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What that guy did, I'm not going to hold it against America.
By the way, did we take the bottom of the hour break? Yeah, we did. Okay, I've lost track of the breaks. Okay. I've lost track. I'm getting like Biden.
Listen, really quick, the effects of this man, he supports all of these college students that are being paid for by these crazy people.
Listen, this is what's happened. This is what I was talking about when you were on the toilet with the Carl in the last hour. Obama brought in, it looks like, millions of Muslims. We have Islamic spies like Ilhan Omar in the government. The Democrats have lost blacks. They've lost gays. they've lost working people, and they see hope that they can get these Islamic jihadi people voting for them. So everything they're doing, Michigan is not looking safe for them. There's a lot of Muslims, a lot of terrorist supporters in Michigan, and they're trying to win Michigan by selling the Jews out.
Discussion pertinent to what's important today. I mean, the bottom line is I've always said this, and I feel it today more than ever. I don't see Biden is making it to
And it looks like they're going to replace them. And if they run out of bullets, Israel, they can always use their nuclear weapons.
Oh, okay. If you're right. Hey, I'm not going to argue.
Why are you depressed today? Why do you not feel good? What's going on?
have faith in Israel, if not in Biden.
It's not just Israel.
What has you depressed, Richie? Richie, what has you depressed?
Israel is not okay. Israel is not as simple. What has me more oppressed is I've been watching these college protesters and thinking this is what we're turning out: little communists instead of people. And if I had one of those young people if he was my son in one of these colleges doing that, I would yank his behind right back home, and that would be all for him.
Aren't even, Richie, most of these people, the longer it goes, each day you realize that fewer and fewer of these people are actually even students.
Yeah.
Basically adult thugs who've been bought and paid for by, the
Soros, Bill and Melinda Gates,
I mean, why somebody has done something about Soros.
But, I mean, only Richie would be depressed today. This court case is a big deal in New York, and it was totally discredited yesterday, and hardly anyone is... This thing on MSNBC happened by accident, and it wasn't repeated, and I happened to catch it. Greg Kelly's reporting... Greg Kelly's the only person that I've saw report the story that Trump's attorneys just exposed about the dinner thing, and totally discredited her testimony. The rest of the media are reporting that she filleted Trump's. And for some reason, you're down in the dumps. You got to stop watching whatever channel news you're watching because they're depressing you.
Great morning.
All right, take care. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Great. What do you have for us today?
Well, I wanted to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day this weekend. And one of the things that I wanted to mention was, I talked on the air about, the story about my grandmother from many years ago when she was in a nursing home and had to spend down her assets. She got the wrong advice, had to spend down her assets because that's what the nursing home advised. I'm sure they not only advised our family, but all the families so that they could be private paid until the assets were down to the Medicaid limit, and then they would get her qualified for Medicaid. So the point is, she could have preserved her assets, had the financial security, had the dignity, not have to worry about being a burden on the family. So my point today is, as we're about to celebrate Mother's Day, let's think about our mothers, let's think about our elders, let's think about our loved ones, and make sure that they're taken care of. And for anybody who's unfortunate enough to be needing care, either they're on the verge of needing care or they're going to need care in the near future, it's very important to plan ahead to make sure that they don't fall into that same situation, and to be so that we can be in a situation where they can actually qualify and not have to spend down their assets. And by the way, you don't have to be poor, you don't have to be impoverished to qualify. That's what elder law attorneys do. We help preserve your assets so you don't have to go broke, you don't have to be impoverished. We can let the government pay so that you don't have to spend down your assets. So,
yep.
Mother's Day to everybody, and I'm looking forward to talking to you all next week. I hope you all have a great weekend.
Yeah, and by the way, that includes both nursing home, assisted living, and at-home care, right, Barry? People can stay in their own home.
It sure does, yeah. Staying at home, and I know everybody wants to stay at home, And so with the Medicaid government benefits, they do pay up to 40 hours of care a week for to cover those costs.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly can stay at home if that's the appropriate level.
Yeah, and people that stay at home are happier and live longer, I know that. But if you can't stay at home, and not everybody can, it helps with that too. And I've talked to many of our listeners who have used the Siegel Law Group for this kind of help, and it's amazing. It's a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, okay? The number, and remember, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. With offices throughout South Florida, from Miami through Broward, Palm Beach, Boca is where the primary office is, all the way up to Palm Beach Gardens, and of course his newest office in Naples. But no matter where you are in Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. The number, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Back after this.
The social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. Oh, man. I feel bad for Richie because he's obviously down in the dumps. This is a great time. We're 6 months away from the election.
And I just have a feeling in my bones. I'm not given to fortune telling, but I have a very strange feeling about this weekend that it's going to get very...
Well, Trump's got his Jersey rally this weekend. That's big. That's big.
It's a lot of pent-up energy and frustration that's going to come out this weekend with these rallies in the New York and New Jersey and these places where we never thought that Trump were in.
Well, I'm not a New Yorker. I'm not a New Yorker. I'm a tourist in New York, so I don't know. But I always have. Well, okay. Well, I'm under the this is my perspective, but this is wrong. Jersey Shore, that's a lot of New York people, isn't it? That would go to something like that. A Trump rally on the Jersey Shore, a lot of New Yorkers are going to go. And I think, I know Trump's had some rallies in some blue areas and such, but... Yeah, and Jersey. This is the first president that's made a play for that area, for these strong blue areas, probably since Reagan in 1980 or something, maybe even Nixon, to tell you the truth. I mean, this is historic, and this would not have been possible 4 years ago or 8 years ago. The country has changed. I want to play something for you, and then we'll go to the phones. This is also MSNBC, and there's a new poll out, and they're confused by it. This is MSNBC, and if you notice, I got a lot of these clips from liberals. These are Trump haters, which gives you kind of a feeling of what's going on. MSNBC yesterday.
Another thing interesting in this polling was more independents said that they worry about President Biden weakening democracy than Trump, 53% to 42%. What do you make of this?
Well, I don't need to hear these liberal jerks. She's in shock. And independents is what they always are going after, right, in elections. By 10 points, independents fear a loss of democracy with Biden over Trump. The reason that is all this lawfare crap has backfired on them. People see what's going on here, and the country has woken up. This is just a glorious time. This is amazing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Louise from Masquerade.
Oh, yes. Yes, Louise.
Okay. Yeah, hi there, Steve. I am really annoyed at you, Brian. Am I correct in stating this is Open MAGA Mike Friday?
Yes.
Okay, you've been talking about Stormy Daniels for almost 2 hours, and I agree that's wonderful what happened yesterday. But Richie has something pressing on his mind, which I feel is...
Okay, all right. Louis, a couple things, first of all, okay, on a personal note with you, then I'll talk about Richie. He is! You can hear it! You can hear it. First, I want to talk about you. Excuse me. I want to talk about you first and then Richie. Number one, most every single one of your calls, not always, but I would say 90% of your calls are in response to an interaction I have with another caller. And you bond with people that are pissed off at me because you don't care for me too much. That's one thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like it is.
Well, that how narcissistic of you. That, you don't have opinions. You just see reality. Now, the thing about Richie and Open MAGA Mike Friday. Open MAGA Mike Friday doesn't mean you're on the air and then we sit back until they're done. We had a very long discussion with Richie about all his stuff, and not what he was talking about. So that's how Open Phones works. Open Phones isn't like, you're on the air and then you go on and then, okay, thanks.
Criticized him from the onset.
He's clinically depressed. He's clinically. You could hear it. We can't see. It's Steve. Did he not sound down in the dumps, Richie? I can.
Down in the dumps about Israel.
He is clinically depressed.
Please. You don't see your faults. That's the problem.
I have faults.
Hannity, but you don't give people a chance to talk without interrupting them constantly.
Okay. What other faults do I have?
That's the biggie.
That's the biggie. Give me the second biggest one. I have conversations with people. That's one. Okay. That's a fault.
You don't let them finish their thought. And if it was not Open MAGA Mike Friday, I could understand. But he's stating what's bothering him.
And we talked about it.
Once, and 2 hours on Stormy Daniels.
Well, which one is more relevant today? The breaking news that I pulled out about Stormy Daniels or Ukraine?
It's as bad as DeSantis with his high heel shoes that you also took about.
That was important. At the time.
Heel shoes.
Yes.
I'm so angry.
Why? Don't you want to talk? Yes. Oh, boy. Ugh. She doesn't like me. Like those... Yeah. She usually calls earlier in the show. Like those stalkers we had on the cruise. I didn't tell you about all the stalkers, Steve, yet. We had, I couldn't get an exact number, but we had 6 to 10 people that were not with our group that were stalking us, liberals. And some of them pulled all kinds of stunts throughout the entire cruise, the whole 8 days. All the time, yeah, throughout the whole cruise. Yeah. Even on some of these Caribbean islands, they were lurking and coming up to me. Two of them pulled a big stunt. I mentioned it early in the show the other day. It was happening so much, and there were 6 to 10. I couldn't get an exact number of people. They weren't with our group. They were liberals, and they hate you and they hate me. And they kept coming up to me throughout the cruise, and not all at once. And as we got closer to the end, it was becoming more commonplace. They never did it when I was with someone. They always did it when I was alone. And it was to the point, the last night we had to get together, and I was telling everybody at our last night, well, I was telling a couple guys all the details of what had happened, and I'll tell you the stunt they pulled, that this one couple pulled at our martini event. Remember the martini event we had? That was the last time they did something. They only would come up to me when nobody else was around, or I wasn't talking to somebody, and
You got to clarify one point.
Yeah.
You can understand. Are you saying these are Steve Kane listeners?
Yeah, they're listeners online. I don't know where they're from. So they might watch on YouTube. They might listen to my podcast. They might listen on the radio. I don't know. But they kept coming up to me, different ones, 6 to 10, liberals all, and they never would come up and talk to me when other people were around. And towards the end, I was starting to think I was hallucinating. I was talking to some of our people. I'm like, they were gaslighting me. And remember our martini party event at the Martini Bar? Okay, some don't remember it because they were drinking a lot of martinis. I was at the bar at the Martini Bar talking to Dan and a lady from our group. Dan was on our last couple of cruises. This was the last encounter. There were many throughout the week, but this was the last encounter. So I'm talking to Dan and one of the women from the group. We all ordered drinks, right? We're waiting for our drinks. So we're talking. They left, and I was still waiting for my drink. They got their drinks first, and I hear Brian Craig, and I turn around, and you always got to be careful of people that use your first and last name. You know, you always on a little alert. So I instead of just saying Brian, you know, or if they say Steve Kane, you know, you got to watch it. Brian, and I turn around. It's a man and a woman. And the guy says to me, does your wife know that you talk to women at bars on the cruise? Right? So I said to them, I said, that's my daughter, and those are my in-laws. So my wife, you know, because my in-laws were there too, and my daughter was there. So I assume my wife knows everything. And I said, by the way, that lady is with our group. And I am like 99% sure the guy was recording this on his phone, this whole interchange. And what they were trying to do, this is like the Stormy Daniels photograph with Trump. They were trying to get a picture of me talking to somebody so they could put it online. And I told my in-laws and my daughter right away, I'm like, you're not going to believe this. I went to show them the people. They were gone. And I called my wife. I was like, you're not going to believe what happened. And I fully expect a video or a photograph to show up on social media. And, of course, the part where I say, that's my daughter and those are my in-laws, that part will not be in the video, okay? That part will be edited out, I'm sure. But that's what these liberals do. They're trolls. And it's very strange. It was a very strange week. More things happened I'll tell you about off the air, Steve. All right, but it's 8 o'clock. We'll take our break and be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM.
You know, do you know how much those people spent to stalk us? I mean, there were 6 to 10 of them. I couldn't get an exact count. 6 to 10. Yeah, I know. It's nuts. That's what you got to do when you're a public person. That's what we got to go through.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
We always have somebody that stalks us on our trips, but I've never had so many, and I've never had them do something like that before. It was creepy. If they're watching, they're welcome to call in. They're welcome to call in. That's partly part of it, Josh.
Enjoy a delicious buffet with your family, plus Hoffman's Treats for Mom. For more information or for tickets, go to bbkennelclub.com.
Sloman's is doing it again for True Oldies listeners. Call 833-283-5050.
Open phones does not mean you just put callers on and hand the show over to them. Yeah, I've told this story 3 times. I told it on the show the other day, early. Did I tell that story on that video when I was coming to the port? Yeah, I've told it 3 times.
A system specifically for your home and include professional installation, an LED touchscreen pad, motion detector for interior protection, 10 contacts, backup battery in case of power failure, and you're ready for this? A lifetime warranty. So call Sloman's today at 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Sloman's is a no-brainer.
I'm not going to take show advice from the mask lady. That's insane.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve, you back with us?
An editorial suggestion.
Yeah.
My editorial sense is telling me that maybe we just, under the circumstances, maybe we should move on from this ship incident with you.
I just mentioned it like the end of the show. What are you talking about? I just mentioned it.
But what I'm saying is, let's start a new show. We got an hour left.
Well, a new show? I don't even know what that means.
This is just a suggestion. You don't have to do this. I'm just proposing this as your partner. I'm just saying I think it might be interesting to do a more free-ranging discussion on what to expect this weekend.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. First, I'm getting criticized for talking about the court 2 hours. Then I spend a minute telling this story about these stalkers. I get criticized. I mean, what the hell? It was less than Steve. It was less. It was 2 minutes because we were up against the break. I was looking at the clock.
Given the situation and the time and the place and all this, when you put it all together, I think there's people who are interested.
All right, Steve. I'm sorry they were stalking me, Steve. I mean, these people. I mean, it's very bizarre. Now there was. First off, the story was over. You're the one carrying it over to the next hour.
Let's take a call.
Well, I want to bring something else up before we go to the phones. There was other testimony yesterday. If you're on hold, stand by. There was another witness yesterday that gave some really interesting information, and this was the former assistant to President Trump. This is another prosecution witness that totally backfired. This totally backfired on the prosecution. Remember, now keep in mind, all these witnesses have been prosecution witnesses, and the prosecution says they need 2 or 3 more weeks. Okay? And the other witness they brought forth yesterday was the assistant that had gotten fired. And just to give you some they thought because she had been fired, she was going to trash Trump. And I'm going to go through this. This fired assistant of President Trump not only did not throw the president under the bus, she told the most romantic story of a president and a first lady that I've ever heard in my life. And no one's reporting it, and I'm going to share it with you now, okay? Now, I'll just tell you why she was fired, and just to see how bad it was. She got drunk at a White House event, and she said some things to the press about President Trump and the Trump family that were awful. And I'm going to tell you what they are, what she said, and this is what got her fired, okay? She said that President Trump doesn't like to take pictures with Tiffany Trump because she's fat. Can you believe she said that? Isn't that a terrible thing? By the way, she's not. She was drunk, exactly, but Trump fired her for it. And it was a very high-profile firing that got a lot of press. So the prosecution, they all have Trump derangement syndrome. So they hear what they want to hear. They're like our callers, right? So they think, oh, she was fired. She's going to be pissed, and we'll bring her on the stand. And I don't know what they thought she was going to say. She told a story of a love affair between President Trump and First Lady Melania that sounds like one of those rom-com movies with.
Get back in their good graces.
Nah, what she said was so bad she'll never be back. But listen to this. Donald Trump's former executive assistant revealed that Melania was definitely the one in charge in their marriage to Donald Trump. In dramatic testimony to Trump's hush money trial, Madeleine Westerhout said the first couple had a special relationship founded on mutual respect. Trump, when he was president, Trump would call his wife from the Oval Office and ask her to look down from a window in the White House residence. And when he was leaving on a helicopter, he would call Melania to check in with her. Westerhouse gave evidence in a Manhattan courtroom right after Stormy Daniels, by the way, and was called to the stand. Trump goes on. Okay, Westerhout broke down in tears on the witness stand as she recounted how making indiscreet comments at a dinner with journalists had led to her being fired. You know, she broke down in tears as she told that. She said terrible things. As Trump looked on from the defense table, she answered questions about the first couple's marriage and how it had been impacted by Stormy Daniels' slanderous claims. I added in the slanderous part. She said nothing appeared to have changed in the Trump relationship. Westerhout testified this: I believe they have a relationship of mutual respect. I just found the relationship really special. He cares a lot about her opinion. There was no one else who could put him in his place. He was my boss, and she definitely was the one in charge. I remember thinking their relationship was really special. They laughed a lot when she came into the Oval Office. Yeah, the wives are always in charge, isn't that? That's how it is. In a good marriage, yeah. He once in a while would tell me to call her to let her know he was running late, just like any other marriage. She'd text me, "It's past dinner time. When's my husband coming home?" Isn't this nice? This is so sweet, you know. Westerhout told the court she would sometimes look into the Oval Office and see Trump on the phone. She said, I could figure out when he was on the phone with Mrs. Trump. He would say, "No, Mrs. Trump, honey, come over to the window." He would say, "Come to the window," and they'd wave at each other. So he would come out of the Oval Office window. He would call her up and say, "Hey, look out the window." Then he'd walk out of the Oval Office and they'd wave at each other when he was working. It is. When he was boarding Marine One on the South Lawn, this was in her testimony yesterday. When he was boarding Marine One on the South Lawn, he would call Mrs. Trump and say, "Honey, I'm about to board." I thought it was funny. Of course, she knows his schedule, but he wanted to check in. She said, working for Trump was amazing. He never once made me feel like I didn't deserve that job, especially in an office filled with older men. He was a really good, this is a prosecution witness, okay? He was a really good boss who respected me and my job. I found him very enjoyable to work for. Then she got drunk and did all that stupid stuff, you know. Hopefully she's given up the sauce. But, she told this beautiful story of romance between the two, and it really shows you how this prosecution, either they're desperate or incompetent. Did they not?
Or a combination of the two.
Why would they even put her on the stand? Why would the prosecution put her on the stand talking like that? That's a...
Clearly, I can't imagine they put her on without re-interviewing her, and clearly they didn't go into that with her.
That's all the testimony. There was nothing negative from her.
I'm talking about it when they spoke to her before. You don't think they put her on the stand without interviewing?
Yeah, this is what I think happened, okay? This is what I think happened. There's no cameras in the courtroom. This is what they thought, this corrupt, crooked judge and this crooked prosecution team, okay? They thought since there's no cameras in the courtroom, the media, these are all New Yorkers, everybody hates Trump in their circle. The media would filter what was said and that this romance would never be reported to the public. The only thing they thought would be reported was an ex-assistant who Trump fired from the White House was on the witness stand today. I think that, what else did she have to offer? Nothing. How could they not know she was going to say this? They just didn't think we'd find out about it. There has not been...
How they could not know is if they didn't interview her and they didn't know...
The other evidence that came in yesterday, there's a phone call between Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels' attorney. Not that Michael Avenatti, her attorney before. And the phone call is the attorney talking to Michael Cohen, relaying how desperate Stormy Daniels was to get paid. She wanted, because she was afraid he would lose and then she wouldn't be able to get any money out of him, right? That if he lost, the story wouldn't hurt him that much, he wouldn't pay. So what the phone call evidence revealed yesterday is that she was orchestrating the extortion against Donald Trump, which, by the way, extortion is a crime. It's a felony. You can go to prison for it. There are people in prison for doing just that. So this case has had 14 days of testimony or so. Not one witness has done anything other than clear Trump or make Trump look great. And they're all prosecution witnesses. There has not been a single witness, from the National Enquirer guy was first to this assistant yesterday, that has done nothing but say good things about Trump and clear him of any wrongdoing. They have less than, I mean, the witnesses...
We just have to hope that they're not all prosecution jurors.
There's no way you're going to get 12 people to go guilty after these witnesses. There's no way. There's no way. There is no way. In fact, if there's a hung jury, it's going to be hung the other way, meaning it's going to be majority acquittal. There's no way. I mean, these, you know, and if you got to look hard, and getting all this information together of what really is going on in the courtroom is very time consuming. You know, this week I've been getting up at 1:30 in the morning. And the reason I've been getting up at 1:30 in the morning, you have to go to too many different sources to put all the pieces together, because the
They're there is to stall and to keep them.
Well, the media are covering this stuff up. Most of what I've shared today has, I haven't, all these things I shared today, the assistant, the dinner thing, the psychic thing, all this stuff, none of it has all been in one place. Not one news source has put all this stuff together. Okay? You have to go to 20 and put it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle that's 1,500 pieces each day.
I mean, can we sum it up by agreeing that the anti-Trump people didn't do a very good job, to say the least?
Oh, it's been beautiful. I mean, and we haven't even gotten to the defense witnesses yet. All of these people have been prosecution witnesses. Even Stormy cleared Trump yesterday. She's too stupid to realize it, but she did. All right, we'll take... Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think you can say that on the air. No, I hit the dump button. We're in a new era now. We're in the. You can't say that, Steve. You can't say that. You can't say. Listen, we'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get into the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys.
On 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. It is open phones, open Mega Mic. Friday, our number one, 888-465-2631. Steve's here, I'm Brian. I want to tell you guys about Jupiter Joe Thomas. And, you know, he's offering two things absolutely free. One, free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Free. No matter where you're located, by the way, in America, you can take advantage of both of these offers. Not only is he offering you free copies of his book all about retirement, which is great if you're already retired or plan on retiring at any time in your life, he's also offering free phone consultations. Give him a call. Take advantage of this. Talk to him about annuities. You know, with annuities, your money is protected from stock market losses, and you can even generate income when you're retired. Who doesn't need that, right? It's absolutely amazing. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. You can get the number there, jupiterjoe.com. All right, 1-888-465-2631. You back with us, Steve? Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Alan Palm Beach Gardens.
Yes.
I know you're not going to be too crazy about the 10 commandments Trump has laid out. One is I must pray, pan daily. The second one is I shall not pay.
Slow down. You get a. Excuse me. Slow down. Slow down. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, Al, slow. Al, what? This is. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't let him go if he would respond to what we were saying. Steve, he's a Democrat. They're all idiots.
Well, not as bad as him.
There's worse. I know it's hard to imagine, but this is what happens when you go screenless on the calls. You know, sometimes you lose a little quality control, but, I wonder how much time he spent writing these 10 commandments. You know, the thing about this witness yesterday with the assistant, the purpose of bringing her up by the prosecution was they wanted to establish, the prosecution, that the Stormy Daniels story had a negative impact on their marriage. And she comes up there and she tells a romantic story. She says, in fact, the opposite. It had zero impact. And she tells a romantic story between the two of them. You know? And I've never seen incompetence in a prosecution at the level of this. Yeah.
Among attorneys, they say that never ask a question that you don't know the answer to.
I don't know what's happening here. I mean, to take it away from this trial, for example, if this were like the O.J. Simpson trial, it would be like every witness alibied him out of the murders, right? These are like, it's a different type of trial and witness, but they're all alibying him out. You know, I mean, it's so, this prosecution, these guys should be disbarred. It's so bad. It really is. Now the lines just lit up, and I'm gonna take these calls. One of them will probably be Al slipping back through, and I want to tell you, Al, you're going to get one warning. If you are one of the callers that I'm going to take, because I'm taking the call screenless and random after that crap you just pulled, you're going to be on hiatus for a while on the program, and your voice won't be heard, because what I'll do in the future is just hang up and dump the call, and no one will have heard it if you're one of these guys that's on hold. You're on the air.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys. How are you, Dave? You know, hi, Steve. How are you? It's amazing to watch the prosecutions bring in these witnesses. I mean, don't they vet their own witnesses and know what they're going to say? All these witnesses look like they're character witness for Donald Trump. The story.
Exactly. I mean, so what are they doing? I mean, the only thing I can think of is, since we can't see the trial, they thought the media would report other things other than what's really going on. I mean, let me play.
An anti-Trump world.
Let me play this audio I started the show with. This is the MSNBC NBC News reporter inside the courtroom. Stormy's done talking. She comes out and gives her analysis on Stormy's testimony yesterday. Now, keep in mind, remember, this is MSNBC.
As I remind our viewers all the time, Chris and Andrea, I sat through 2 E. Jean Carroll trials and 2 cross-examinations of E. Jean Carroll, and I have to tell you, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This was very much what I call a nuts and sluts defense. There was a portion of the cross-examination.
Yeah, I mean, did she go to Harvard for that? A nuts and sluts defense? What is that? Do you learn that in law school? But listen to what's next.
Where Susan Eckles was focused on the fact that Stormy Daniels now claims that she is a medium and that she communicates with dead people and has participated in a TV series about the paranormal, where she explores things, including the fact that at one point an ex-boyfriend of hers was inhabited by spirits.
Okay, so Stormy Daniels, under oath, testified she is a psychic medium who speaks with dead penises or people, dead people, and that no, and that her boyfriend was possessed by evil spirits. I mean, how do they put somebody like this on the stand?
I don't know. For 2 days she's on the stands, and this is what she's coming up with. You know, the story between Melania and the president, this sounds like a beautiful Hallmark movie. It'd be a great Hallmark movie.
Yes.
I don't see the litigator. Obviously, DEI is visiting our law schools because these are the best litigators on a case, prosecutors for a case like this, and this is what they're coming.
Well, there's another possibility, okay? Because we're saying, how can these prosecutors be so incompetent? And who's that one guy for the prosecution from the Caligula, the guy from the Justice Department? This is what I think happened. Okay, this case is so poor, so weak. Trump's coming back. Good, credible people that are talented at their job of prosecuting wouldn't take the case. So they had to get some bottom feeder, lowlives, incompetence. You can't get this sloppy. You can't get this sloppy. The first witness.
Well, sloppy, as it would apply to this situation, sloppy simply means they never heard that story.
Steve, it's every witness. The first witness was the Inquirer guy, David, with the P word last name I'm not going to say, okay? The National Enquirer guy said that Trump knew nothing about the payoff, right? And he went through the whole thing. Same thing with McDougal. And they had another thing about the doorman. Totally disgruntled that. Stormy was totally discredited. Her story was totally invalidated because of that interview where she said they had dinner when she's been saying they hadn't had dinner. The fired assistant who was going to come in and talk about how it destroyed their marriage told this Hallmark movie love story. The Stormy Daniels' own attorney, they entered evidence in with his testimony of a phone conversation. I read the transcript in the first hour between him and Michael Cohen, where Stormy Daniels was leading the entire extortion move against Trump. Every single witness has cleared Trump. Every one. This isn't sloppy. It wouldn't be every one. They'd get one right.
Yeah. I mean, there's not even a scintilla of evidence of any wrongdoing here at all. If I'm Trump's attorneys, I would say, well, thank you for the cross-examination, no questions. I mean, this is ridiculous. There is no case here. There's not even a trace of a case.
Well, there is a case. There's a bribe case with the judge with the $10 million to the daughter, and there's also some cases against these crooked lawyers that are prosecuting the case. Yeah.
About the real cases.
Exactly.
The corruption.
Exactly. All right, man. Take care. Got to run. Thanks. We'll be right back.
Radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show.
humidity and more of the same to lower 90s tomorrow. Dry conditions. I'm WCBS 25 First Morning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Turnpike northbound, stop and go delays from Lake Worth Road to the
bit
Beeline
lower,
Highway.
but then I almost fell off my chair. So
Oh, was that loud? Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
One in 24 people in New York are you a millionaire? Let's see how long it takes us to find a millionaire in New York. No, I am not. 1 in 24 people in New York are a millionaire. Are you a millionaire?
No, I'm not.
Davis demands tapped to be Trump's attorney general if he wins.
The kind of, the world has been here before. People did not take the kind of threats that we saw in the 1930s as seriously as they should, including Americans.
From fins up to sundown, a Bahamas getaway with Margaritaville at Sea is the perfect summer refresh. Book it today to lock in your savings on your next cruise together at MargaritavilleAtSea.com.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Hey, my True Oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor,
Al's the worst caller. I don't know if he's the worst. The worst, I'm not saying he sucks, but there's worse. Today was bad, yeah. He didn't have much to say today.
You can go to JupiterJoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement are great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150.
Yeah, Renee's pretty bad. Terry's bad, yeah. 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 If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. Mrs. Clinton has weighed in, Steve. Mrs. Clinton has weighed in on here she is.
Here before, people did not take the kind of threats that we saw in the 1930s as seriously as they should, including American journalists. You know, people were taking at face value that, oh, this can be controlled. He may have said some outrageous things, but, you know, the institutions will hold. A determined demagogue, unfortunately supported by members of his political party, other enablers, people who care more about a future tax cut than the sanctity of the Constitution, are falling in line.
Oh, that's interesting. So she compared Trump to Hitler. They compare more about concerned more about a tax cut than the Constitution. You know what my follow-up would be to her, Mrs. Clinton? You know what I'd ask her? Don't you take the Trump tax cuts, Mrs. Clinton? You know she does. I mean, you know she does. She'd say, I don't know. I got an account. Well, let's get the accountant on. I mean, those,
I'd like to take a minute just to take a couple steps back and realize what's happening here as the dust is settling on this horrendous case that we've been faced with, okay? And I know I'm not the only one here who believes in God, but I've expressed this on the air a couple of times briefly, because we don't want to go too much into religion. But I've always had a feeling there's something about the magnitude of this case that has implications about whether this country is going to survive or not, and that God's hand was involved. But if you stop and you look at what's been accomplished here, they had this whole complex. When you sit and see what they've done here and how they set this up over all these states, and I mean, you want to talk about really unbelievable and efforts to Donald Trump.
Yep.
How this thing is turning out, where they're going. Right now, it looks as though, we don't know 100%, but it looks as though Donald's going to win on all these cases.
Yeah, that's right.
It's awesome.
They're losing on everything. You know, there was an unrelated story where the left really... Did you see the story about the blackface kids? Oh, my gosh. It's, all this woke crap is dying in this country. There were three or four high school kids from a Catholic high school were tossed out of the college for taking a photograph in blackface, right? Well, it wasn't blackface. It was acne cream. And it was green acne cream, and they were putting on acne cream, and they took a picture, and of course the liberals saw blackface. You could tell it was green. They sued, and they got like $1 million each or something. Even the reason I bring that up is the closer we get to this election, to the return of President Trump back in the White House, okay, this woke stuff is evaporating. It's falling apart everywhere. This case, this prosecution team, they're clowns. They're clowns. This is the most incompetent prosecution in the history of public prosecutions in a courtroom. I love true crime, and I watch a lot of true crime. I follow true crime. I always have since I was a kid. I read the... Yeah, and I read the local news. I only read the crime stuff in the local newspaper. I've always been fascinated by it, and I followed many, many trials. I've seen trials where the prosecution didn't have a great case. I've never seen a trial where the prosecution witness after witness, clears the defendant of any wrongdoing. I've never seen it. And the judge's problem is he can't toss it out because his daughter took the $10 million, right? So he can't toss it out without permission. And I really think that they're hoping for a hung jury so they can keep the cloud over him still. But the phones are ringing off the hook, and that warning to Al the John is still in place. You're on the air.
Good morning. From Fort Lauderdale. How are you doing?
All right, Fort Lauderdale.
Welcome back. I think Steve hit the nail on the head. You got 12 jurors that are like Liberal Al. You think Liberal Al would ever find Donald Trump innocent? There's no way.
What I'm saying, no. New York, listen, I'm not saying that they're all going to go acquittal. It's possible. I didn't think it was in the beginning. It's possible.
That's your point.
He thinks they're all like Liberal Al on the jury because it's New York. I think you're going to have I think it is nearly impossible to get 12 people to convict on that jury. I think that it...
If they do, I'm just saying if they do, if it comes to a verdict, I'm just saying if it turns out that way, is what I'm saying. I'm not predicting that it would, but it's very hard to believe that they're going to get an acquittal.
I think an acquittal is possible at this point. Most likely hung jury, and a hung jury with the majority going acquittal.
Yeah, I mean, a hung jury, that's the best we can hope for, but you can't even reason with liberal Al. I mean, the prosecution can say, we have no evidence on this guy, but we need to find him guilty. Liberal Al will find him guilty.
Well, liberal Al wouldn't make it to the jury.
That's true. All right, guys.
All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian and Steve. It's Nick on it.
Hey, Nick.
I wanted to...
What's up?
Hey, great to hear you. Listen, I wanted to thank you both, and Steve and Brian, for an excellent analysis of the situation. And the thing is, this is all great information going into the weekend, leading into the rally tomorrow. So I'm going to have a good Friday coming into Saturday. It made me feel better about what's going on. This whole thing is going to fall apart, and you can see the evidence now. This is so absurd. So absurd.
Well, what do you think, Nick? No, tell Steve how right he is, and I'm going to ask you a question. I said, tell Steve how right he is, and I'm going to ask you a question.
No, I'm just saying excellent analysis, and I believe in God, and I do believe his hand is involved in this.
So this is my question, because you're following this, and I'm starting to feel like I'm insane between these weirdos following us to multiple nations to this. What was how did this happen? This is not an exaggeration. Witness after witness has cleared Trump. How did the prosecution bring up witness after witness that clears the defendant in a case? How did this happen?
Well, because of I think you guys touched on it earlier. You've been touching on it all along. Their incompetence and their zeal, their hatred for Trump, it's all backfiring, and that plus the complicity of the media.
The intoxication. Hate, out of all the emotions, hate impairs judgment. It's like intoxication. So you're saying that these prosecutors are so consumed with their Trump hate that they didn't realize what these witnesses were going to do, which was clear Trump?
Exactly. That, plus the fact the case itself is totally ridiculous. I mean, they're bringing up something that was already adjudicated.
And the judge still, this corrupt judge whose daughter took $10 million from the Biden-Harris and Adam Schiff campaigns, okay? He's reprimanding Trump's lawyers for not objecting enough. Their strategy is let these idiots talk. Why object when they're making your case?
Exactly, and just wait till Trump's lawyers put on their defense.
Oh. I know, it's beautiful. All right, Nick, good to talk to you. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Never Trumper Steve in Martin County. How you guys doing today?
Good. How about you?
Just fine.
He was in a pretty bleak mood.
No, not at all. As you might imagine, I'm here to tell the truth, even though most of your listening audience goes the other way. First,
what do you mean by the other way? Are you saying that most of our audience is homosexual? Excuse me. You said most of our audience goes the other way. Are you saying that the majority of our audience are gay? Here, excuse me. You said the majority of our audience goes the other way. Do you mean that the majority of our audience are gay? What does that mean?
No, of course not. I don't think about sex all day long. Trust me, I don't. When I say the other way, I'm talking about a fact. But let's get, whatever a fact is, you might feel it's the other way, if I were to say it. However, let me get into what you... Here I go. Okay. You made a big deal over whether Stormy said she went for dinner or had dinner. She consistently said she didn't eat. But long story short, the prosecution did not even need her as a witness.
Slow down right there, Mr. Truth Teller. Slow down. Excuse me. Slow down. That is, slow down, Truth Teller. No, I'll do it now. Thank you very much. I want to stop on this point. Excuse me. Steve, I'm not going to let you go through 12 points and us forget the first one. No, this thing... No, Steve, calm down. We're here till 9, okay? The dinner thing is big, and only Greg Kelly at Newsmax, who was in the courtroom, said this and reported this. She has done several interviews. The two that we've all seen are Anderson Cooper and Jimmy Kimmel. She's got a pat story she tells. He invited me to dinner, and we didn't even have dinner. And she said to Anderson Cooper, he still owes me dinner. She said it like that. In the In Touch, it does matter. Stop and listen. In 2011, excuse me, in 2011, no, not until I'm done with my thought. No, he's not. No, I'm going to finish my statement. Hold on. In 2011, she did an interview in 2011 with In Touch magazine where she detailed the dinner she had with him. She detailed the dinner in 2011 in the In Touch interview. In the new interview, she says they never had dinner. It shows that she lied, Truth Teller.
Because the indictment isn't whether they had sex or not. The indictments are two. One is whether whether the books were falsified, claiming it was a legal fee. It's not a legal fee when you give hush money pay. If Trump paid hush money payments to avoid the information from coming out before the election, that is the first indictment, which is a misdemeanor. And if that was done to hide information in violation of campaign finance laws, that's why it goes up to a felony. Whether or not they had sex, who cares?
I just want to understand something. Let me ask you one or two questions. So you're happy with what's going on? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm what? What did you say?
Oh.
I say...
I'm happy with what's going on? I'm happy to hear the evidence. Brian decided day one there's no crime here. I mean, we have 2 or 3 more weeks to go. I'm listening to the evidence.
Hold on, I let you speak.
Go ahead.
So let's take turns here. What are you saying? You're telling me that you're happy with the way the trial is going? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when you say the word happy, I'm listening to the evidence, and thus far...
Let me reword it for you. Do you think it's going well from your perspective?
It's going well from the prosecution's perspective.
The
prosecution say...
Can you share the evidence that they've entered? Share the evidence. Excuse me. See, this guy, he knows we're up against a break, and if he doesn't stop talking, this is a propagandist right here, okay? Well, I'm talking to the audience. Call Steve the caller, okay? Oh, my. Can you share with the audience the evidence that has been presented in this trial that Trump committed a crime?
Yes, I just said that to you. There's two indictments.
No, not indictments. Evidence enter. Indictments are not evidence. Indictments are not evidence, okay? I'm not, slow down. This guy, he's not slick. Slow down. I'm not asking about the indictments. Indictments are not evidence. What evidence has been, indictments, no. That's what the jury will decide. What evidence, you want to retract that this is a good call, Steve? What evidence have they presented that show... Can we get Liberal Al on the line? Only one person can talk at a time, all right? All right? What evidence have they presented in court that shows President Trump committed a crime?
I just told you he signed 9 checks.
He signed 9 checks, okay. If Steve gives me... Today's Friday, it's payday. Steve gives me a check... All right, reimbursed. It said legal services. Steve gives me a check today, right? It's Friday. It's payday. Steve pays me, right? Brian Craig, he writes in the middle, broadcast services. If I leave here and go buy cocaine down the street, Has Steve committed a crime, or will I have committed a crime?
That's not well. This has to do with business record.
This is what you're saying. You're saying that because Trump paid Michael Cohen, when Michael Cohen used his own money to do crime, it's Trump's fault.
The reason is because it had to be grossed up so that he would not be hit on the taxes on the $135,000. If he's an employee.
All you're doing is going through the allegations, none of the evidence. And what I've spent the last few days doing on this program is sharing the evidence on the air. Listen, normally at the end of a call, I thank a caller for calling. I'm not going to do that this time, because if I thanked you for your call, I'd be lying to you. You're pathetic. And what makes you pathetic is not your anti-Trump opinions, okay? That's welcome here always. It's that you won't take turns to talk with us. And we can't... Well, listen to this. It's time for a break. We'll talk to you again another time, all right? And, yeah, I know. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered mornings.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman. From the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca, it's time for the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals ending up the week?
Metals are ending up very strong. Those of our Steve Kane listeners that took advantage of the dip that we had over the last week are going to be very pleased to know gold closing up $38.30 yesterday and up another $23 today. Gold trading in a range from $23.06 yesterday all the way up to $23.48 and closing out the day at $2,345.90 the ounce. That was up $38.30. Silver gaining a remarkable $1.02 yesterday, closing at $28.31. Platinum was up $8 at $9.81, and palladium gained $20 at $9.56. The rally continued overnight as we saw gold trade in a range from $23.51 all the way up to $2,379 this morning. Right now we're at $23.69, up $23.10. Silver up another 15 cents at $28.45 the ounce. Platinum gaining $8 right now at $9.89, and palladium up $20 at $9.76. So the markets are very strong, very firm, full strong support for gold around $2,300, and certainly silver holding around that $28 numbers.
This is amazing. These numbers, I feel like I'm living in the future, like 100 years in the future. These numbers are so good. One thing that you offer that is very unique in your industry, and you could talk to people about this because I think it's amazing, and it says a lot about you and your incredible shop in Boca. You will buy back anything that you sell to customers. Can you talk to people about that?
Absolutely. For over 50 years, we've made a strong two-way market, and anything we buy and sell, we're happy to buy it back. It's not a one-way street. Anything we sell, we will buy back, and anything that's legitimate in the marketplace that you've purchased from even other dealers, we will purchase. But we make a good two-way market. There's no problem with that at all. You bring it in, and it's as easy to sell it as it is to buy. Maybe even easier to sell it than it is to buy it.
Yeah, and I bring that up from time to time because that is not unique in that business, but it is very true of William Youngerman, and it's a great testament to the great customer service and value that you give in that business. William Youngerman is open at 10 a.m. weekdays. You can stop in. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. His number is toll-free 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And if you missed the phone number or address, just go to his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. And at WilliamYoungerman.com, you can find both the phone number and the address. All right, have a great weekend, William Youngerman, and we'll talk on Monday.
You too. Thank you very much.
All right, back after this. All right, calls on hold, stand by. Steve, I just want to talk just a second about the last caller, and I want to say a couple things to the audience. That never Trumper Steve, okay? We welcome dissent on this program. And if you disagree with us, you are welcome to call here every day of the week. But what that guy was doing is a testament to how poorly this case is going for the prosecution. He had a tactic of trying to steamroll us and not letting us have a discussion. He wanted to give the talking points of these slanders against President Trump and not have to defend them. And the key question I asked him was, what evidence has the prosecution presented in the 14 days of testimony that shows that President Trump committed these crimes? And they have presented no evidence whatsoever. The memo section in the paychecks, or the checks that he gave, said legal services. What the hell is, where's the crime there? When you are an employer and you pay someone money, you are not responsible for what they do with their money. Michael, and about 2 months ago, a story came out that Cohen was involved in a relationship with Stormy Daniels. Testimony last week from, Stormy Daniels' attorney last week testified that Michael Cohen had a relationship with McDougal. She's the Playboy girl. That Michael Cohen had a relationship with McDougal's attorney. And what I have taken from this case, and I think it's quite obvious, Steve, that Michael Cohen hatched these plans with McDougal and Stormy Daniels to steal money from Trump. And Donald Trump's in the construction business in New York City. He's got this scummy lawyer because, Steve, can you build buildings in New York in the 80s and 90s without paying off some mobsters at the union? How do you get a dumpster at your construction site? You got to pay off a mobster. So he's got a relationship with Michael Cohen where he pays him money and he doesn't really ask. And I'll tell you, Steve and I have worked together for many years. Steve and I do not, fine-tune all of our expenditures between the two of us. Sometimes I pay for things, sometimes Steve pays for things, and you work with somebody. That's how it works. Michael Cohen, in my opinion, the prosecution has shown that Michael Cohen was a very complex employee theft operation that he had. There's someone that I know who was an accountant for a big hospital district that went to prison. They were stealing money from the hospital district, and they got caught. They were in the same prison as Tim McVeigh. Okay, somebody, an acquaintance of the family. I'm not related to them, and they're very far removed. Okay, but he was doing like what accountants do when they're stealing from an employer. He was embezzling money from the Trump organization, Michael Cohen, it looks like to me, through these women. And that's what they've shown. And it's been painfully obvious. All right, we're short on time and we have a lot of calls. I'm going to go to the calls now and do my normal disclaimer, not at the end, at the beginning. If you're on hold when the show is over, hang in there. We'll be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. And if you're on hold, you'll be first in line Monday morning at 6 a.m. All right? Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Richard from Coral Springs.
Hey, Richard.
Quick thing, any business owner will know, if somebody will send you an invoice, it will detail what it is for. Simple, ask one to prove the invoice. If it was invoiced as legal fees, it's legal fees.
Correct. Not all invoices are itemized.
Yes, but I don't think he will itemize it, so it's not transport. It is called for, as he claims it is. And you can go back and see Cohen's expense. How did he expense this profit? Did he put it as a payoff?
As a payoff? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you write down payoff.
Exactly. So he hit the thing too. So he's in trouble too. How did he put it on his taxes?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you hear me?
Once. Twice. All right. You're out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra, and I'm calling from Delray.
Hey, Sandra.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi. I'm a retired accountant. I've been an accountant. Well, I still have my license, but I've been an accountant since 1983. This is all right. Once they have determined that this money did not come from campaign funds, all bets are off. This is like a regular audit. IRS goes. I've been in many audits. IRS goes in. Oh, this is not a valid expense. He's going to have to pay interest and penalty and be taxed on it. It's not a criminal offense. It happens every day. Now, I want to bring up Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff also has a residence in Maryland, and he claims he's a resident of Maryland. He gets all the perks, but yet he claims he's a resident of California. So what he did was he retitled. There was no criminal action, although there should have been. And
all right, listen, we're short on time, but we're short on time. I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
sorry, Brian, I'm going to choke on my water.
You better hurry. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. You okay? Do you need CPR? Need the Heimlich? I can't give you the Heimlich over the phone. Are you okay?
Good. Now, it's Jules in New York. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's wishing the mom Happy Mother's Day. And I want to personally say Happy Mother's Day to Kathy.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to all the MAGA moms out there.
All right. Thank you very much. You know, a lot of people in this audience, believe it or not, call Steve and I mothers all the time. I don't know why. Why do they call us mothers all the time, Steve? I don't know. All right, that's it for today. We'll be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. Take care. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's been here. God bless Donald Trump. See you Monday.
That's 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1.
All right, guys, I got to run. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and everyone else like the video, okay? Appreciate it. Take care, guys.